I don't want to talk about the Sweet Anita thing because I don't think anybody here, unless anybody here has a disagreement on it, I don't think there's any disagreement here. Wait,
Yes,
I'm going to assume everyone here is a decent
human being.
I don't know what it is. What is it?
Well,
I think one spicy. It's not even spicy, actually.
Okay, well, I can read the topic here. I just don't think people are gonna. I don't think anybody wants to disagree. I don't think anybody should. But I mean, maybe you do. I don't know.
I want to disagree.
I don't think you want.
There you go.
Oh shit!
Big surprise.
All right, so
Listen, all I'm gonna say is fuck Lil Chipmunk for what she said. Okay.
Sliker really wanted to get partnered, huh?
That's all I'm saying. That's all. Whoa! What do you mean partnered? This girl's partnered.
Fuck this partnered streamer that's been on this website for 10 years.
Wes, they're not that sensitive. I mean, anyway.
Listen,
Yeah,
okay,
they are.
let me say this. This woman she didn't even apologize to her, okay?
Yes, she
didn't even
did.
at her. No, she didn't at her, you
Okay,
fucking
live
idiot.
stream
You don't
fails.
know how fucking Twitter works. You the fuck said that? You just said okay, live stream fails.
I said that, Sliker. Oh fuck! Now everybody's gonna kick me out. Fuck.
So
what's the issue to disagree with here with Sweet Anita?
I
don't disagree with her.
I mean, it's somebody who, I feel like this is somebody who's showing off a condition that personally, until I watched her channel, I didn't really have a real idea of how it works in practice.
I have a hot take, and I'm gonna say it. She admitted herself that it's chat that triggers it. She needs to ban every emote or every phrase that triggers that sentence or that triggers that tick. I think that's totally fine. What's wrong with that?
You think?
Yeah.
But hold on, but she also said though that the idea of like banning something or having to walk on edge makes it worse.
It's not walking on edge. It's just reducing the likelihood that she says the N-word or.
Wes, I'm sure you're playing devil's advocate here, but there is something especially repugnant about somebody telling someone else how to deal with their disability. By the way, it's like really fucked up.
Wait, no, this isn't dealing with your disability. Hold the fuck on, hold on. I'm not telling you how to deal with your disability.
In constant anxiety and shame for the condition they have because people in society don't understand it, don't
Sure,
want
I understand it
and
completely,
the
Richard.
idea
Hold
that
on,
you can
listen.
do things to minimize it when it acts on a part of the brain that is designed to create the maximum offense and shock value.
Yeah.
It's
What
a
is the
ridiculous
harm in
premise what
trying to
you're talking about
reduce
there,
the
brother.
likeliness
100%.
it's said?
100%.
There's nothing. This isn't. I'm not trying to tell her how to use her disability. I'm saying
You
in the
literally
sense
told
of
her
Twitch,
that she has to minimize potential ticks by banning emotes.
If she
in
said
Twitch.
that it's triggered by chat,
Nonsense.
what is wrong about? There's no issue with like not using those emotes or banning those emotes. There's people who ban emotes because people use them racially, like they don't have Tourette's,
I think
right?
the difference is treating somebody differently because they have a disability. I mean, expecting a different standard from somebody because they have a disability. I don't think that's equal treatment.
Hold on, Basti, hold on. There is. She is
triggers it.
Wait. Also, she is being treated differently because she has a disability. She wasn't banned, right?
No, I'm saying asking somebody else to treat, to act differently because of a disability. Twitch handles it. Twitch already allows context-sensitive use of all the words in question here.
Hold on one second.
Yeah, I'm not asking her to. What are you fucking
Go
talking
ahead,
about?
Wes.
She admitted herself that the chat triggers it. So if she can locate these triggers, why is there anything wrong with getting rid of those triggers? If anything, it helps reduce the shame and the constant worry that she feels that she's gonna say shit like this. This isn't telling. I don't understand. I'm not trying to tell her how to run her life. I'm saying that if it's specific tick that has these specific words that make her say them, what is wrong with trying to reduce that?
Oh wait, so hold on. They're not exactly saying the words directly. Like she has the words.
I don't know. Yeah, I know. I don't know what it is, but I'm just saying she identified it.
They're literally saying, "I hope she doesn't say it." Like it's hard to fucking ban.
Yeah.
that,
Okay.
right?
Sure.
And
It would have to be something like certain emotes or certain words that trigger it.
Yeah,
If
so
she
as
can
long as she's,
identify
like-
those, then you can get rid of them. But
He
if it's
has
something
them
like
banned, but
that,
when
yeah,
people
you can't.
just say generic shit. Yeah, it's fucking hard to get that banned, or it's hard
Yeah,
to
I get that.
like that.
No, I get that 100%.
At the end of the day, this is like at first it really bothers me when I see those clips go around. It's like, why the fuck? Like this is that internet fucking dipshit that shares those clips that hurts someone. Like what the fuck, man? That N-word clip. By the way, that N-word clip was already like at 100,000 views or something like that when it first came out, right? So somehow it started circulating again, and people started getting real indignant about it and being fucking stupid. And then there are going to be those assholes that would be the one to share it to then start fucking mass reporting it. It's absolutely fucking insane. This person has a disability. Like, don't fucking just leave it alone. Let it go. The end.
Absolutely.
I have a close to a spicy. It's probably not going to be spicy for.
Hold on. Can you? Casey's raising her hand. Go ahead.
Oh, Yes, and this is gonna kind of change things, but whenever she did say the word, she was talking about her necklace, which was actually a butterfly. And I'm gonna link you this Wikipedia, but there is a butterfly that's actually referred to as the word butterfly. So I don't know if that changes anything.
I don't think that. I don't know if that's relevant to the. I don't know if that's relevant.
I'm just saying.
I don't think that's relevant. I don't think she's brought that up, and I don't think that's necessarily relevant to the thing. Irrelevant. What were you gonna say?
I mean, why is the only thing that I could think of, because I mean, obviously she got a condition. No, I don't think anybody here is going to disagree that, like, oh yeah, she's morally wrong. No, she's not morally wrong for saying that. She's dumb take for that. Why is the clip still up on her stream? That's my question. But why is it still up?
Why should she have to delete that? Like, it's
it's because
hold on. She should delete it to get rid of the
thing
fucking
is
troll.
irrelevant there because
shit.
so much subsequent discussion came off the back of that clip. It did drive a lot of attention, and I think there is some benefit to what she's saying.
Why should she get? Wait, hold on. Why should she get the beneficial clout of saying the N-word?
No, hang on.
Richard, go ahead. Richard,
happened, right? The reason why it's all up and all the subsequent debate and discussion is still up, right? Is because there is now a very compelling argument about actually it's raising awareness for people to get into the headspace of understanding Tourette's. And she's done a lot of stuff. She's been out there like apologizing for it, explaining the disease. There's been other streamers with Tourette's that have come out and have basically like said, like, you know, it's really brave of her what she's doing and showing a bit of solidarity.
Because it's definitely
so like what you're saying is, like, I mean, again, for the N-word.
Yeah, this is a condition that is normally hidden away from public view that is incredibly hard to get a real look at, and I feel like she's doing a service by sharing that with people.
Wait, what? So hold on. Wonderful. She could be doing a service by sharing it, but that doesn't necessarily mean she has to have the clip still up on her stream.
It's contextual. What?
Yeah, but if she deletes,
I mean, that's ultimately I feel like the argument here. I mean, Twitch allows this stuff contextually. This is the ultimate contextual argument, is it not?
Yeah.
I mean, it is, but I mean,
There's
I don't
charge to the way she said the word. It's obviously a trigger from Tourette's. There's no context. Like she didn't say it in any sort of way other than like unintentionally.
I mean, that is the context.
Yeah.
And it's better if she has the clip up, so like people don't have to come ask for like what happened.
And if she deleted it would cause more controversy.
Exactly. I don't know if I actually think it would. I think hold on. I think the people that are actually antagonistic to it would be fine with it if it was deleted. No?
Well, why do you want to pander to the people who are trying to shit talk over something that's completely out of her control?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's the idea that I think the people that are complaining aren't because she said the N-word, or at least not the people that I've seen. It's the fact that she still has it up.
No, I've seen everyone's like, I can't believe this is allowed on Twitch.
Okay, so what about I guess we're in different circles. The only complaints that I've ever heard about it is the fact that the clip is still up on her channel.
Okay, so what is your issue with the clip being up? You think she's farming clout by saying the N-word, you said?
No, obviously. Well, if she was farming clout, that would have been necessarily the problem with saying it in the first place. The idea
that's what you said.
Yeah, no, my idea. No, hold on. If she was farming clout, then I would have a problem with her saying it on her stream because that necessarily would mean that she was doing it, or it wasn't a tick. No.
Well, it's unintentional clout. That's how you phrase it, right? You were like, "Why is it she getting all this free clout for saying the N-word?" Is what you said.
Okay, yeah, I did, 100%. But like, I don't know why. I legitimately don't understand necessarily why it has to still be up.
Well, again, because if you go look at all the subsequent contextual explanations and the apology she's put up and everything, once you start getting into a realm where you start saying to her every time you have an incident or an episode or an unfortunate tick, you have to start deleting the clips, you're slowly stripping away like a big fundamental part of her identity that she's trying to cope with in a very public space. Yeah. And it sort of gives credence to the idea that, you know, actually, she should be held accountable for it, which of course isn't true. I mean, we all agree with that. So,
well, now I will say, if Twitch wanted to say tomorrow,
clout by leaving that clip up is absurd.
Well, okay, I guess I didn't mean to phrase it that way, like she was doing it intentionally to farm clout.
It's
I think it's so
unintentional.
rude
That's what
to
you
say
think?
you're just farming clout. That's so rude.
Okay,
and-
I didn't mean it that way.
Well, now
meant-
what? I mean, is there really a problem? I mean, in that situation, like, isn't that what everybody is doing on Twitch? Isn't that part of streaming on Twitch? Is trying to
No,
build up
it
a knowledge and awareness of
absolutely
yourself?
not.
There's nothing malicious about that in the
we
least.
want a wholesome community and share ourselves and our lives, and like I don't think that a lot of people are trying to just get clout. Who cares about?
Well, I don't
Also,
think I don't.
Don't
True.
you think if she deleted it, that would be essentially like admitting that she did something wrong when in
Exactly.
all reality
Wait.
she didn't do something wrong?
Very true.
Hold on. So
It made it to World
wait,
Star
hold on.
Hip Hop.
Just because you delete something doesn't necessarily mean it's an admission that you did something wrong or
Well,
morally
that's the
bad.
way it can be
It's that it
interpreted.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, also it can be interpreted a million different ways. Like
So if she
for instance,
deletes
the
it,
fact.
the only person that is going to be able to control the context about the discussion of the clip is the malevolent entity that clipped it and tried to blow it up as a fucking drama in the first place. This is why clips are bad. Everyone here has been clipped out of context. I'm pretty sure about it.
Any
It's the dark
clippers?
side of having the attention or the clout, as you call it. Why should she lose control of a very important narrative to this fucking bad faith actor? Absolutely not. The clip stays and all the surrounding context around it stays. And trust me, there's no clout here. She had a terrible time when this went public. She was mortified. She was castigated on social media. She thought she might lose her platform.
I mean,
So
I don't
no,
think
it's
it,
not about clout.
Well,
And
I
it's
mean,
like,
I
why
didn't
does
meant
she
that in a
need
malicious
clout?
way.
She's
Yeah, I
already
didn't.
famous
Yeah,
anyway.
I didn't mean it in a
pretty much.
malicious way.
No, I don't
didn't
think
mean
that's what
it
you meant.
at all in a malicious way.
Yeah,
All I'm
I get
saying
what
is
you're
we're talking about her right now. It is spreading awareness for her and her brand, and I'm not saying she's trying to farm that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that was her intention at all. But it is the fact of the matter.
So
And the
what
fact
are
that
it
you
happens
saying?
whether your point is
Well,
basically that it happens
what I'm
whether you
saying
want
is
it or
that
not.
word
Right?
What are
negatively
you
affects-
saying?
That word negatively affects people, and I think it would be rather respectful to have taken it down.
You're policing a disability.
How am I policing a disability there?
That's exactly what you're doing by saying that she has to delete or.
I'm not saying she
conceal.
has to do shit. I said that I had
Wasn't that
I'm
the
saying
argument?
literally-
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore,
Wait, I'm
to
not
be
saying
honest.
that she has to do anything. I'm saying that from my perspective.
What
she
are
maybe
you
should be-
saying?
Casey's expressing himself pretty well here.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Okay, I'm saying that quite simply. I feel like there could be an argument made that taking down the clip could do some benefit to some of the people.
Well, let me
Like,
ask you this,
affected by
Irrelevant.
this.
I
What
I
is
get
taking
you're
it down
saying.
gonna
Like,
benefit?
well,
It
no, hold on a
doesn't
minute. Hold
matter.
on.
It's already
Irrelevant.
been
Are you?
saved
You're
100
not saying
different
that like
places.
Twitch should force this, right? You're saying
No,
though that you can see.
absolutely
Okay,
not.
well, I see what you're saying. I mean, and I feel like that's totally a reasonable individual decision to make. But what gets me, I guess, is the notion of people who propose that she should receive special treatment in the sense of she should be obligated to go farther than other streamers do in terms of policing herself. And I think that would not be fair.
Wait, what do you mean?
Sometimes it's-
Farther than
As in,
others
if
do?
Twitch
But
required
you're
her to
wrong,
do things
Irrelevant.
like delete her clips, to ban people that might trigger her in some way, if Twitch required that kind of stuff, I think that would be unfair.
So do you
I
do you
it's
guys think
reasonable
do
for
you guys
Irrelevant to
hold
say
on?
there's a case for an individual, to address it individually, however way she
Well,
feels.
do you think though that do you think that some of her viewers watch her hoping that things are said?
100%. I think a big part of them. That's why there's
Probably.
people
We've
who do
all
it in
got
chat
that,
to
and we
trigger
don't
it.
have
Yeah,
Tourette's.
exactly. Like Richard says. I mean, that's something that happens a lot. I mean, there are always bad faith actors who are hoping you'll screw up, who will ask you a question for the
Yeah.
purpose of trying to get you to say something or maybe to get you angry. I know
the
people
thing.
do that in Hassan's chat a lot to varying
Like,
degrees of
as
success.
much
That's-
I was just
I mean,
gonna
that's
say,
easy
probably
for
the
them.
streamers
That's
and
easy.
Sam's
all
been
that
the biggest
shit, if we
victim of
continue
stuff
to
like
do
that.
this, we are
Yeah.
actually helping those fuckers. Like, the more we give this attention, the more that those people feel the need to do that. So when they see 20,000 people watching people talk about the shit they started, that motherfucker who clipped it is like, fuck yeah, I fucking got it. So if we continue to do this, if we continue to give it some credence, like, oh my God, can you believe she said that? Or you see that clip? Just talking about it in general is going to cause problems. So what we really should do is just shut the fuck up, ignore it. And then when someone brings it up, say, hey, you stop that, fuck off.
Well, it's good. She had to acknowledge it.
Wait, doesn't
once,
that
and
defeat
now
the
she did,
purpose?
Now
Hold on.
everybody knows.
Doesn't that defeat the purpose of bringing like awareness, like you were saying previously,
Yeah.
to the idea
You can
that
bring
people
awareness
do
to it,
that?
but when someone does it in a malicious way, and that's the question, like,
How do
why
you
are people
judge when
watching?
somebody
I
does
asked-
it in a malicious way?
You don't fucking know. You don't fucking know. Well, I'm
So then
sorry.
you
Actually, no,
can't
never
judge.
mind. Wait, hold on. Never mind. If you fucking clip her saying the N-word and then you post it to live stream fails, guess fucking what, man? No one's doing that shit in good fucking faith.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Let's. Does anybody else want to say anything? Some people that haven't said anything. Hassan, do you want to say anything on the topic?
Not really. I don't really even understand why we're still having a conversation over this. She has Tourette's. She said the N-word. Someone in bad faith probably triggered her and then clipped it and put it on LSF. It's pretty fucked up.
Yep.
Okay, let's take a vote. Let's take a vote. Vote for who you want to keep, not kick. Keep, not kick.
0161 Manny on the map. Vote Sliker.
Why do you do that, Casey?
I know,
Get thicker.
dude, this is
I'm trying to help you, Sliker.
This is Candy. This is Casey for you guys, okay? She tries to jump on someone's dick to get that clout.
I was just trying to help you.
I don't give a fuck if you were there. You ain't no 0161.
I was trying to set you up.
You are the biggest.
Too proud to need that help, huh?
What?
Too proud to want help?
What?
Yeah.
She's just trying to shout you out, man.
And that's one of the things I
Shut your
admire.
mouth.
Are you white knighting right now? What's going on?
Right.
What do you mean white knighting? You're acting like you don't like you are just the lord of this, even though you've had very little to say of value all day.
What'd you say?
Damn!
Yeah. Hey, come on. What's the
You said it, bitch.
frustration?
What have you said that's been of value?
That's
Hey,
not
I
what
brought
you
up the
said.
feeders. That was a very important public
Yeah,
awareness.
that was
he
very
said,
important.
you
You're
little
right.
pivoty fuck.
Everyone really cares and remembers that you talked about that. You're right. You're 100%
What did you say,
right.
cutie?
I don't
Attack
even
his
remember. I
point.
don't even remember your fucking name. That's how important you've been today.
Hey, that's okay. I'm gonna
It doesn't
not-
matter what the
that's a
rest of us
testament-
females
That's a testament to
say.
all the wonderful content on Twitch that we're not all aware of each other. How about
It
that?
doesn't matter what the rest of us females say. We're no Candyland. We're all just second in comparison, so.
What do you mean?
You're just so good looking, Candy.
Oh, you're so good looking, Casey.
I can't wait. I can't
That's
wait
a
for
lot
Candy,
coming from-
Casey to release new content and go on that bike and do a stream on it.
The bike?
Go on the
I'm
bike?
not doing it.
Yes.
No, I hate that.
Oh my god, that's so mean, Sliker. That's so
What?
Oh my
mean.
god, he's
Are you gonna make this an
fat-shaming me.
SJW
I'm gonna
topic?
cry.
Wait, not
Yes, this is
SJW.
perfect.
Are you gonna make this an equal right topic? Shut up,
Yes.
Candy.
At first, I thought
Fuck's sake,
Slicker
dude.
left me out because he was being nice to me and didn't want to make fun of me, and then I realized he left me out because I don't have boobs.
Oh no.
It's super shitty.
She's just kidding. Okay,
Of
let's
course I'm joking. I'm waiting for that partnership, okay?
go
I'm not
ahead and
trying to
vote
be
for you
toxic.
want to keep, not kick, chat. Your vote's very important.
Uh-oh.
Your vote's very important, okay?
Slicker, I swear to God, I never even see an LSF clip of you unless it's about you mentioning your own partnership. Why do you
Shut
care
up.
so much?
I never see an LSF clip of you.
That's
full
because
stop.
I don't beg for
There's no
partnership. I
reason-
don't care.
Wait,
How
there's
do
no
I
reason
get
to
LSF?
Man,
Of
he's
course
trying
I
to
don't
build
need to.
some
Wait,
clout
guys,
for it.
I don't grovel for partnership like a fucking
Wes,
child.
I know you don't. That's why you're sucking so much dick for that poker sponsorship.
Like Slicker's
That made
a
me
lot of
a
things so
lot of
far, but
money.
I don't think he's one to grovel.
Slicker, how many
He's
partnerships
hardcore.
have you taken for dog shit games that you hated?
Yeah,
like
wait, but is it-
Roblox?
is it-
L-
is
l-
it-
hold on,
is it-
Zintani, 1 second.
Who are you gonna
Let me
talk
tell you
shit to?
something.
1
Wait,
second,
I'm a
Zintani.
professional
Here's the
gambler. I
So
gamble
1
for
second,
life.
wait, Ken. 1
That's
second.
what
Me
Yeah.
for taking a poker sponsorship?
That's what you get the boy them
Sliker is the
start
most
chasing me, get me?
successful unpartnered streamer on this fucking platform. Like, I don't know if
Yeah,
any
rock
person
being
who's never
unpartnered,
been
dude.
partnered
Have something
and been this
to
fucking
distinguish
Actually, John
yourself.
Zerk is, and then me.
Because once you get
But-
partnered, you're no one. You're just another
See-
partner.
Wait, now they
Wes.
changed it so you still get ad revenue, right? So
Wes,
that's
Yeah,
good.
you
Now
get
now you're
everything
not-
with partnership.
Dude, I'm saying this
Yeah.
on my mum's life, Wes. I thank the Lord for not seeing you in Austin. Thank Wallah al-Azim. Ashkara Allah. If I see you, don't come up to my face, dude. I don't want to associate with you.
I don't
Full
give a
stop.
fuck. I'm not doing
No,
it.
no,
What
no,
are
listen,
you
listen,
gonna do,
listen,
little
listen,
bitch?
listen.
You
Of
gonna
course
come
you
for me,
give a
little
fuck.
5
So
foot
hold on,
short
Slicker, you really don't want to run
Don't
into
you wanna
Wes?
buck up
I
to
mean,
me,
you don't want to
kid?
get in on one
Well,
of
I
those
should
$100
talk
Talk to me
scratch
shit
offs.
all
Hold
you
on.
want.
Listen,
Don't you try
listen,
my
dude.
ass, IRL, you
Listen,
little
dude,
bitch boy.
listen,
Hey,
you
hold
be
on,
I
Wes.
know who the fuck you talking to.
Okay, come on now.
Sweating.
Yeah, you little
Dude,
Let him keep
badass
going.
one. you
Hold on.
5'1",
No,
never
listen,
been in the
listen.
gang life. Ain't never nothing.
Wes,
you never been
let him
shot, you
talk,
never
Wes.
You never stole drugs.
Wes,
you
let
never
him
killed
talk.
nobody. You ain't G.
Wes, let him talk.
Bitch ass little kid.
Listen.
Who you
Wes.
talking
Listen,
to?
when you
come up
begging,
to
when
me,
you
kid.
begging, when you trying to fucking farm, trying to be a victim, and you say, Slicker, why do you hate me? Because you a fake sumo wrestling fat shit.
Whoa, wait, whoa.
Slicker, can I
Hey,
can I
hey,
say
hey.
something right here?
The two of you.
Shut the fuck up, Wesley. Shut your fucking mouth. You are the fakest little bitch I've ever met. You have to thumb the fuck out you, buddy. Just listen here. I try to be real with
So you get this fat shit.
Hey, hey!
You get this fat shit to get mad. Shut the fuck up.
Hey,
You fucking
I got
sausage
mad
roll.
respect for the
Sausage
tracksuit
roll.
game now,
Suck my
alright?
dick,
Listen,
dude.
listen,
This guy
Sliker,
stands
you
his
want to
ground.
see
I got
who's
respect
fucking
for that.
fake? Who's the
That
guy who
tracksuit
tries
game
to be real with you on
Listen,
stream
sausage
and then
roll,
reach
you
out to you
suck my
afterwards and be like,
dick,
yeah, we're
right?
cool, and
Hey,
like, I'm
listen.
sorry, and you never fucking respond. Who you calling fake? You clout farming, miskipped dick riding little BS.
Hey, let's leave everybody's name out of it.
Listen.
Who you talking to, son?
Listen,
Little
sausage
fake
roll.
Adidas
Listen, hey,
tracksuit wannabe
listen.
Russian.
All right. Hey!
Toddler.
Hey!
Who the
Both
fuck
of you
you
were
is,
talking at the
kid?
same goddamn time.
Never heard nobody like you.
Hey, bro, you might need. Hey, listen, you might need to start taking the stairs, dude.
Come up to me, IRL. kid.
Okay. Whoa, hey, come on, hey. Both of
You
you.
can say a lot.
Both of
but
you
don't
knock it off.
understand.
Hold on. Hey, hold on.
Sliker, go to the
Sliker.
gym, gain
Hold
some
on 1
inches,
second,
you
Wes.
fucking shrimp
Hold
ball.
on, Wes. Stop height
Relax,
shaming
relax,
Sliker.
Wes,
Sliker,
relax.
stop fat shaming Wes. All right?
Shut up, Raj. We were
shit.
making content. You literally
Okay.
just cock blocked all the content.
No, it's over. I mean, if you guys want to keep going.
Good one, Raj.
Okay.
Keep going. What else?
Relax, dude. Holy shit.
Well fought, Sliker. Well fought.
All right.
Okay,
Nice
well,
job.
someone's
Good
happy.
job. All right.
Sliker, you have something else to say, don't you?
Oh, you fucking cunt.
He's not done
Oh
with
my
you.
god, I won! I don't deserve
fucking-
this.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, but you
Poll
voted
is
last
over.
time, right?
Bottom two. Lycan and Candyland.
Yeah, you waited long enough for that to happen, didn't you?
That's not true. Oh, it is true.
Wait, what do you mean I waited too long for that to happen, Lycan?
Yeah, you were waiting for that, you fucking. As soon as he passes, you're like, end the vote immediately. Fuck you.
Wait, you think I was looking at the vote? You think I did that? You really do?
I do. I fucking
Really?
do. I know how you work. I've listened. I've watched the show for fucking a whole year, man. I know
Oh,
exactly
damn.
how you fucking work.
God damn, he's on to me. Uh-oh.
You fucking cheater.
Uh-oh. Hassan, you get to choose in the bottom two here between Candyland and Lycan. One of them is going to be eliminated at the mercy of you, sir.
Lycan literally ats me on Twitter and DMs me all the time to fucking try to fight me and have debates with me.
Wait, hold
So,
on, Hassan.
Considering the fact that just stop talking. Hold on, stop talking. Considering the fact that he put a lot of effort into this, into his introduction, and then I called it cringe, and then I felt kind of bad because he did put a lot of effort into this.
did too,
Unlike
put
what
a lot of-
Candy did. Candy hasn't put in effort, just trailing along. I'm gonna fucking Squad W the shit out of this vote,
Just
and I'm
look
gonna
at how she
elevate Lycan
looks.
so I can kick his ass later.
Wow.
And kick Candyland off.
What? Oh my god, I can't believe it.
I put so much
Candy,
effort.
call him
I put so. What?
Just call him sexist.
You're so sexist,
There you
Hassan.
go.
Oh my god.
Yup.
Wait. Before you go, Candy, blir du ledsen när jag komplimenterar din rumpa?
Was that
Am I saying that
necessary?
right?
Was that...
Jag blir inte
Nej.
alls
Oh.
ledsen. Det är
Okay, then. Okay, then this is late, but like Candyland has the best butt I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, thank you.
When we
That's
were
so
all
sweet
talking
of
about-
you. That's so sweet to say. Tack
Well, I
så
wanted
mycket.
to know.
Tack så mycket. Okay, Candy, thank you very much.
Varsågod.
Yo, call me a simp, but Candyland does have a banging ass, dude. Holy shit.
Candyland, are you okay
Yeah.
with
It's shocked.
Candyland.
Yes,
Like-
everybody can say that. That's very sweet if
That
you
shit
think so.
banging, dude.
Very pretty.
All right, Candy, thank you very much for being here. I appreciate it. Go ahead and shout your channel out.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. My channel is twitch.tv/Candyland, spelled with K.
Thank you very
Okay,
much,
thank
Candy.
you so much.
I appreciate
Bye.
it, Candy. Thank you very much. Bye. Wish Candyland good luck. Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Raj, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, what's up, Lycan? Is this
Jesus
true, Lycan?
fucking
Have you been
Christ,
messaging
Lycan.
Hassan constantly to want to debate him?
Oh
Is this
yeah.
true?
Oh
I've
yeah.
seen
So
it.
here's the thing. I really like Hassan. I really do. And
I like Lycan too, by the way. I was mean.
But like every time we go on stream together, it's always a good faith discussion. Like we disagree on a lot of shit, but it's always a good fucking discussion. But I will donate to him and be like, hey, let's fight. And it's like I'm trying to be antagonistic. I'm trying to be a smart ass. But at the end of the day, I really like the motherfucker. And yeah. So thank you, Hassan. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Okay.
Sucker idolizing
Hold on,
mediocre
we got the
penis.
next topic here. Greta Thunberg. How do you pronounce her
Mediocre
name?
pundits.
How do you pronounce her name? Greta
Thunberg.
Thunberg is the person of the year. Time magazine named Greta Thunberg its 2019 Person of the Year this week. The 16-year-old Swedish climate change activist is the youngest person named. She beat out Donald Trump, Nancy Pelosi, the whistleblower that sparked the impeachment inquiry, and protesters confronting the Chinese government in Hong Kong. Time named Thunberg for sounding the alarm about humanity's predatory relationship with the only home we have, for bringing to a fragmented world a voice that transcends backgrounds and borders, and for showing us all what it might look like when a new generation leads. During an impassioned speech earlier this year, Thunberg said people are suffering, people are dying, entire ecosystems are collapsing, and all you talk about is money and eternal fairy tales of economic growth. How dare you? Trump was mad, by the way.
How dare you?
And how dare you? This is all wrong. So, my question is: Has Greta Thunberg made a real impact on climate change?
I mean, we're all
think
talking
no.
about it. Well, for sure.
Hopefully.
Brought up the idea.
She is the
Okay, hold
biggest
on.
name.
One at a time. Who wants to go first?
Can I just say something really quickly about Greta Thunberg?
Yeah.
Because there's additional recent news. Greta Thunberg won big brownie points on my end, at least, when she told a cheering crowd, "We will make sure we put the world leaders against the wall if they do not tackle global warming," as she attended a climate protest in Turin to a cheering crowd, and then, of course, immediately had to apologize for it in less than 24 hours. But
that's a
that
little
was pretty
Soviet,
cool.
isn't it?
Aside from
Right?
that,
Like,
it's
let's
just
put
like,
them against the wall. Let's put them against the wall. Firing squad. Oh, you disagree
Little
with
extreme.
Can we talk about something new
no.
here, though?
It's pretty cool that she has like you know,
For real,
some
climate change isn't
radical
real.
takes on something as disastrous as climate change that is going to wipe out entire ecosystems as it has already.
I think climate change is a super fucking serious issue.
Okay, thank you,
Absolutely.
Lycan. Stop interrupting him to tell him how
Can I
serious
just-
it is.
One last thing. The fact that people were like, Nancy Pelosi should have been Person of the Year. God damn it, dude. What a bunch of fucking simps. What a bunch of fucking cucks. Anyone who thought that Nancy Pelosi was good this past year, judging by her political performance, anyone who thinks that she deserved the most, the most honorable Person of the Year, or whatever kind of fucking dumb thing that Time gives people, is a complete imbecile, a complete moron, a simp of the highest order. Nancy Pelosi sucks ass. Sorry.
Okay, thank you for
So
the
what's
political
your
debate
problem with
here.
Nancy Pelosi?
No, can we not do the political on this
Hold on.
number once?
This is pretty inherently
Jesus
political any way you
fucking
take Greta
Christ.
Thunberg.
No
don't you think?
political.
No, it's not, because
political.
the beautiful thing about Greta Thunberg is that everyone else is super pissed over all these political actors not getting a Person of the Year. Yet she's the only person who wasn't some political person, and people just keep pulling her into politics. She's the only person who's talking about things that affect the entire world, yet everyone else is just talking about politics in their own shitty little fucking countries.
Climate
Richard,
change
I
is
may
an
jump
inherently
in at
political
some
issue.
point,
To
Raj?
do
Yeah,
something
one second,
about
Rich, I'll get you in,
it,
Richard.
you
No
need.
political.
There's no way
Yeah.
around politics with climate change. To do something about it, you
But
take
talking about
action.
Nancy Pelosi's political score this year is not really like adherent to the conversation at hand.
It was
Did
inherent to
Greta
the conversation
Thunberg-
we were just having, but we
Yeah,
can
and
go back
I
to Greta
clocked
Thunberg
that
if you
conversation.
want.
So this is what we're gonna do, Bastiat. If we want to talk about Nancy Pelosi, we'll get to it. But first things, we should address the topic at hand. Go ahead, Wes. Did you want to say something about the topic now that you're on?
It was, yeah.
Oh, okay,
it's
you already
she's
said
the
something.
She's the Time Person of the Year is about the most influential person for the fucking world, dude. And she absolutely was this year. Everyone else is some political actor or component of bullshit, and she was trying to make an actual impact. Maybe she now is bought and sold by political people. I don't know about all this shit I've heard, but I mean, at least in the beginning, her message was true and pure, man.
Yeah,
And she's trying to make real world change.
and then she got elevated by, of course, media monsters who wanted to turn her into a commodity, as they do with every other fucking social movement that has any sort of relevance. And this is how they then turn around and take like actual radical movements or actual people who are trying to make progressive change and turn it into something that's just bought and sold and marketable and essentially dulled.
Richard, we want to get Richard in on here. Go ahead, Richard.
Based on what Hassan's saying, I was about to preface this by saying, Hassan will love this because it's a classic centrist take. But I just wanted to say that, first of all, I think Time definitely missed a trick because while I think Greta's spotlight's been admirable, It should have absolutely been the Hong Kong protesters. And just for a point of information for you, Wes, it's not always an individual that wins Person of the Year. It can, so just in case you weren't aware of that, it should have been the Hong Kong protesters because standing
Hold on, one second. Let Richard finish. Go ahead.
Yeah, so because standing up to China is so fucking. It just doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. Not even American corporations will do that.
True.
I'll add to it as well. I think
that...
there is something stupid. That if you want your movement, I think, to sort of have credence, putting like a 16-year-old girl as the kind of spokesperson for it, I don't think that's necessarily great optics, even though she's a great symbol for youth stuff. I don't know necessarily if adults and world leaders should be taking their cues from a child, but I'll just add further to that. There is something absolutely perverse about right-wing demagogues essentially bullying a 16-year-old girl with autism by mocking her for being concerned about climate change. Donald Trump was tweeting about it the other day, telling her to chill out and stuff, and it's like that just riles everybody up to attack this child that I think, if it was your child with autism that was doing all of this, you'd be proud. So it's a really fucking strange situation. I don't know why she's become sort of such a focal point for everything that's idiotic about extreme leftists and mainstream media and everything that's grotesque about the right wing. It's like
Richard,
it's a shame.
Go ahead,
let me ask you, what do you think about? I mean, because I get what you're saying, like about Hong Kong protesters. I get what you're saying. I mean, I might even agree with that. But what I'm curious about is when you say she's not like a good model for this, doesn't she kind of embody like the fierce urgency of the now? This argument that like, people may not have to deal with this, but I definitely will. And sort of that kind of disinterested, kind of pure sort of interest in the issue. Don't you think
she doesn't have so? I want to take advice on climate change from scientists. They don't always have the most presentable message, right?
Yeah, that's the issue.
The newspapers aren't going to take a climatologist that's got hard data because there's just nothing sort of exciting about that. It's not going to get clicks. Greta Thunberg is iconic because she is a child. She has overcome hardships.
Right. Yeah.
She is prepared to stand in front of crowds and give these speeches, which are getting, if you've noticed, the language that's being used, as Hassan alluded to, is kind of changing into things she probably wants to stay away from if she wants to be taken seriously.
The thing about Greta, though, is she's just an activist. Like, she hasn't provided any solution. She hasn't actually done anything besides bring awareness to it.
Exactly.
And I don't think that's enough for Person of the Year, if I'm being 100% honest. I mean, I don't think Nancy Pelosi or Trump deserve it more than her, but I do think there's other people that do deserve it more than her. And I think it's unfortunate when she's already the face of this climate change movement and she's already a household name, and we're just giving her more credit that I think is essentially undeserved. Well, I mean,
I don't even care about Greta Thunberg one way or the other, but like, what do you want her to fucking like actually start executing British petroleum executives or some shit?
No, Hassan, like Boyan Slat, when he was 16, he invented something that cleaned out tons of thousands of pounds of plastic out of the ocean. He's also an activist, but people don't know his fucking name. Like, that's the issue, is you have this girl on a platform.
That's fair.
And that's great, and that's so awesome, and it's so good that she's a face, but all we're doing is throwing more attention at her when really we need more of these people to be household names, and if we don't give them attention, then they're never going to become that.
So here's the thing. You have a lot of people resisting the idea of climate change because, like, I'll admit this, like, when I saw her UN clips, I had never heard anything about her. So I thought they grabbed some child and they put her on a stage and said, hey, bitch about climate change, so these people will listen, right? And I was really indignant about that. But then I looked in, and this is apparently something she's been just inherently passionate about and done a lot of work, got a lot of attention in her country, and she made it to that stage. I'm very happy and okay with that. I think that climate change is a super fucking serious issue that we're putting on the back burner in a lot of cases. And the reality is we don't have a lot of fucking time. We don't have a lot of chances to rectify this. The change we need at this point is fucking extreme. And now we're fucking debating over this fucking chick getting nominated, which, by the way, I think there are other people that could have been nominated for this fucking magazine's award. But regardless, like, we're all distracted with this when we should be saying, hey, yeah, there's fucking shit to fight about. Like, to get this change.
And imagine thinking the Time Person of the Year is an important fucking thing anyway, really.
Yeah. She might be a 16-year-old who just...
Well, I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's meant to be, like, it's meant to embody somebody who's made a lot of change. I guess I'm surprised that there's so much skepticism of this notion that this person who's really made this issue, like, emotional rather than just factually driven.
Guys, we're talking about a 16-year-old girl who had like a one-person protest 1 year ago that somehow, and possibly through also like media taking on this cause as well, turned it into like a worldwide global movement spanning spanning across continents with like millions and millions of people participating in like school walkouts and shit. Do I think that that was enough to move the needle? No. But do I think that that's still relatively impactful? Absolutely. Especially considering the fact that there is so much misinformation, largely created by corporate entities that have a vested interest in ensuring that there is confusion around climate change. That yes, unfortunately, awareness at this time is actually important. So to turn around and be like, oh my God, well, she didn't invent something, just invent something, forehead, is like kind of a silly counter to that. And I'm saying this as someone who like doesn't really care about this one way or the other, because I don't think that like I agree with you in the sense that like I don't think that just like simply spreading awareness is enough. We need to actually target legislators who are in the pocket of big corporations like this, in the pocket of the fossil fuel industry, and put pressure on them and tell them that they're not going to get reelected if they continue to do this, like the Sunrise Movement has been doing all around America. There was a very famous video with Dianne Feinstein yelling at like fucking 12-year-old girls that were waiting outside of her office to have a conversation with her in an identical fashion. Like there are a lot of activists that are doing this exact same thing. It's just that the impact that Greta Thunberg has had is still pretty significant, and understandable that this fake award thing that Time gives to people decided that Greta Thunberg was deserving.
Irrelevant. What do you want to say?
Very smart. Very smart. She has very good memes.
Hold on, Casey. Relevant. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that like Greta Thunberg absolutely has done a lot of, I'd say, a great deal for climate change awareness at the very least. And I think climate change awareness is obviously very important, as Hassan was putting. So I'm not going to rehash over that. However, I would 100% agree with Richardlewis's take on the idea if it is even a conversation, in my opinion, about whether or not it could be like Greta Thunberg or the Hong Kong protesters. It's got to be Hong Kong protesters. Those people, it's not even close, in my opinion. Like, because of the level of like throwing yourself in a dangerous situation for something that you believe in, taking direct action and actively protesting out there. 100%. The bravery of those people in the
they're standing up against the most powerful authoritarian government in the world.
Absolutely.
Bastian, basically their backs against the wall, and if they are defeated, like there is no happy ending for them.
Bastian, do you believe Bastian? Do you believe that Greta Thunberg should have been the person of the year, or do you believe...
I mean, if you're compared to the Hong Kong protesters, no. And I mean, I think even Greta Thunberg recently said, my school strikes have done like nothing. She's very clear and direct about the notion that she is very dissatisfied about her own reach. And I feel like while climate change has a lot of advocates, the people of Hong Kong and democracy generally in the modern world now is really up against the rope. So I do think that they probably are more deserving of this award for whatever that's worth. But I mean, certainly she merits it in her own way.
Do you think they didn't get it because of China?
They absolutely
I doubt that.
You don't think the Chinese government stepped in and they were like, no, Time, if you do that, we'll fuck your shit up?
Why do you think they've picked controversial picks before, right? I mean, what do you think about that, Richard? Do you think the Chinese might have...
What was that? Sorry, I didn't catch the question.
Do you think the Chinese government might be the reason why the Hong Kong protesters weren't picked?
Definitely, 100%.
Well, no, but I was just going to say, knowing enough about the media, what I was going to say was no Chinese shenanigans, although now that you put the thought in my head, maybe.
Yeah.
With corporate interests and whatnot, because Time's obviously owned by Time Warner, a big conglomerate. Yeah. But the reality is they knew what they were doing when they picked Greta Thunberg anyway. They knew all the right-wing fucking idiots that can't stop tweeting about this child were gonna fucking jump all over it. And it was gonna blow up. And it's the same thing over and over again. It's like we see the media make these controversial picks because they know it in a divided political landscape it'll generate inflammatory reactions and therefore traffic. So for me, I think it was a very cynical move. But now that you mention it, absolutely, there could be something to do with Chinese money at play and not recognizing the Hong Kong protesters. I hadn't thought of that.
Bastian, just out of curiosity.
Bastian, can I ask you a question?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead, Wes.
It's so strange because I keep listening to you talk about how the Hong Kong is more important to you and you want to push away from Greta Thunberg. Is this because that you protect people who kill the environment on a daily basis?
No, not at all.
Wait.
Actually smart as fuck.
I work in competitive energy markets promoting natural gas, which is a much cleaner fuel than coal and which has driven down America's emissions, at least until President Trump took office and rolled back emission standards. It was driving down America's carbon emissions. So I think that what I do is absolutely helpful for the environment, and I have no reason to argue against.
So you're delusional.
You can argue maybe that fossil fuels should be eliminated overnight. That's a whole other argument. I think that's a terrible argument if you believe that people have a right to a decent standard of living. But yeah, I that is what I do for a living.
What do you think's the biggest concern for climate change today? Do you think it has nothing
I think
to do
the
with
biggest
your
problem,
industry?
as far as I can see, the biggest problem is there's this lack of willingness to go for nuclear power, which, as far as I can tell, is the only way to get the energy we need today in a way that is as close to carbon neutral as possible. There's still carbon intensive use in mining the uranium and building the plant, but once you've got the plant in place, you're pretty well set. Folks like Bernie Sanders and other Democratic candidates are against nuclear power, and I just don't understand how you can have a clean energy economy without that nuclear baseload electricity. So to me,
wait, is that like the Chernobyl thing?
Fuck it, we'll figure it out.
It's not like
Science.
this is the reason why we don't have nuclear power. Yes, it is like it's Chernobyl.
I mean, it's not like in an ideal world we wouldn't have nuclear power because of the risk, right? But like if climate change is the emergency, I think we all acknowledge that it is. I don't see a way around it.
Hold on. You just said yourself it's an emergency, yet you think Hong Kong protesters are having a bigger global impact?
Well, now, I mean, compared to, say, Greta Thunberg, compared to the issues at stake, I mean, there's a lot to think about there. But yeah, I think the people of Hong Kong right now are doing more for the benefit of the world than, say, Greta Thunberg.
How?
Because they are understand solidarity with Hong Kong 100%. Like solidarity with the people of Hong Kong. I totally understand what they're protesting, but what I simply cannot understand is like, why does no one ever talk about Bolivia then, or Chile, or like any of these other places where people are protesting against neoliberal administrations and their failures?
Hold on.
Absolutely. You could actually celebrate the protesters in all these countries. In Chile,
hold on. Hey.
John's take, please.
Let him finish.
People talking all day.
Let him finish, Hassan. Let Hassan finish. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Okay. So the thing is, like I said, solidarity with the people of Hong Kong. I totally get what they're protesting. I think an authoritarian regime taking over and turning their government into a more authoritarian, socially authoritarian. The government is bad. I don't agree with that. I don't like that at all. Having said that, though, it is kind of interesting that there's outsized coverage on Hong Kong protesters when the entire fucking world is on fire. We have Lebanon, we have democracy protesters in Lebanon, we have protests going on in Iraq, we have protests going on in Iran that have not even been covered. The internet was like blocked and 30 people were gunned down as a consequence of that. We have protests in Chile. These protests have been as effective and as important to those people, and yet no one ever fucking talks about them because it's not against it's not against the communism of China.
One difference there. There's one difference that is worth considering.
Zintani, hold on. 1 second. Are you finished, Hassan?
People have died in Chile. People have died in Bolivia right now as a consequence of a right-wing takeover coup. And yet, for some reason, we're always like, oh my God, Hong Kong. Oh my God, Hong Kong. And I think Hong Kong is important. But it is really strange that we are constantly manufacturing consent when it comes to Hong Kong and never, ever think about this from the same point of view when it comes to all of these other places where the world is literally fucking on fire.
Yeah, Hassan, there's no manufacturing consent here. Thinking about China as a unique threat in the world today. China has the power, unlike all the other regimes you've discussed. I mean, apart from the issue of a coup, China has the power to affect events in other countries as well.
The only reason why I care about the Hong Kong protests is because it like undermines China or something. Like it undermines Chinese global hegemony. Which, by the way, if that's your take, then that's fine. We can have a conversation on that too.
What did you say? I didn't catch the first part of that.
Are you admitting basically that the only reason why you care about Hong Kong then is because it undermines Chinese global hegemony?
Not at all. Not at all. What I'm saying is the reason why people would understandably be more interested in China is not only because China is engaged in some of the most authoritarian repression imaginable in the country right now, not just in Hong Kong, but in East Turkestan with the Uyghurs, 1 million of whom are locked up in concentration camps right now.
Agreed. The Uyghur concentration camps are an absolute catastrophe.
And again, I think it's worth saying, yeah, hey, look, China's a country that can also affect everyone else in the world too. So yeah, we're more concerned about that. But you are right that those issues shouldn't be left out of the media as well. And maybe time could have celebrated protesters like around the world against authoritarian regimes or things like that.
1 second. Hassan, do you want to respond? Or Zintani, then Lycan.
No, I have to pee so bad.
Go ahead and pee.
I have this take. No. My take. I think Raj should get Person of the Year for giving a Chad like you a platform to give your boring Chad memes.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Oh my god.
Lycan, go ahead.
Okay. So I think if we turn back a little bit and go back to the discussion we were just having, if we look at the Time Person of the Year and we do not expect the person to be the best person possibly nominated, but just what Time said, hey, this was important, I think Greta was a good choice. And I will say that as someone who rolled his eyes initially at the person being nominated, I will say that, yeah, like if we don't expect this to be like objectively the fucking best of all the people who could be nominated, it was a good nomination. And we should just be like, oh, okay, that's fine. Boom. And we can discuss the rest of the shit. We can discuss whatever, all the topics about, what's going on down in South America, what's going on in China, etc. But as far as the topic that was brought up, I think that on that grounds, it's okay.
Smart stuff.
All
Smart
right.
stuff,
I think
guys.
it's time to take a vote. Unless anybody else has anybody that wants to say anything more.
Should have been Donald Trump.
Okay. Anybody?
I mean, they've made. I think they made Stalin. They made Hitler Person of the Year. The Person of the Year.
Oh, Hassan has more to say.
What?
Zintani, do you have? Hold on, Zintani. Hold on, Zintani. Do you have anything more to
It would
say?
be drawing
Yeah,
attention.
I wanted to say.
Do you have anything to say that's relevant to the topic?
Yeah, I usually don't like hating on presidents because I just don't usually care.
Yeah.
But I think that what Donald Trump did was in really, really bad taste, even if it is a ploy for advertisement.
That
for his
doesn't have
campaign.
anything to do with the current topic.
Well, he
was
trying.
it's really cool, Zintani, it's really cool for you to be quiet the entire time, and then when we're about to vote, you farm more Destiny votes.
Okay, let's not even talk about this. Let's not even talk about this anymore.
No, Donald Trump. I'm talking about.
I know you're talking about Donald Trump because you're trying to be a part of the conversation, but this is not a part of the conversation, Zintani, because we're talking about who won. We're not talking about how Donald Trump is a dumb fuck who tweets dumb shit. We're not talking about that.
Okay.
That's not the topic.
He literally got involved after she won the award.
coming out of the fucking woodwork.
I'm sorry.
Hold on, one at a time. Hold on.
The amount of relevance that you've had in this conversation is absolute zero. So stop trying to.
I wanted to talk.
Chat doesn't think you're funny. They think you're absolutely cringe. So stop it.
Who?
Cutie
You're
jelly.
embarrassing yourself.
Okay, Hassan, what'd you want to say?
Are you okay?
I love watching chicks.
What I was going to say is just to clear up some confusion about
this.
Actually,
Not
Time
relevant.
Person of the Year.
Do you want me to Trump... Yeah, hold on. I know, Hassan. It's very weird how people talk over each other. Just go ahead. Zintani, 1 second. Hassan, go ahead.
Okay. Just to clear up some confusion, Time Person of the Year doesn't necessarily mean the most awesome person of the year. It just means the most impactful person of the year, as evidenced by the fact that they've literally chosen Hitler and Stalin in different times as Time's Person of the Year. Having said that, it's just still bullshit marketing to sell Time subscriptions, basically.
I don't like
and
the
we're having
argument
this conversation
Stalin one frame.
Greta hasn't done enough.
Twice, I
because,
think.
hold on, can I say something?
Stalin's like the biggest winner of Time Person of the Year that I'm aware of.
Wes,
The argument that Greta Thunberg hasn't does enough is so stupid to me because it's about influence, how much impact this person's had. Yeah, directly they might not own a company that's working towards this, but how massive her name has become over the past few months is going to have incredible influence all over the world. People are listening to her message. People are going to start acting on her message. Even if it's not her herself, the impact she's going to have is going to be mega massive.
So Zintani, did you want to respond to Cutie Cinderella directly?
I'm sorry for angering you. I wanted to say that the whole time, but they were just talking the whole time.
I understand,
So
but do you understand how it's not relevant?
Well, it was relevant, and I did want to say that a long time ago, and I couldn't. So I wanted to say I think it was in very bad taste. Well, because we're talking about how
Ooh, you're gonna question my bad taste when the only fucking things you've said are shit on Hassan? How is that in better taste than anything I've said? Your
What
question, you just said what I said was in bad taste when half of the shit
Donald
you say
Trump,
is actual bullshit.
No, what Donald Trump tweeted was in bad taste.
Okay. And that's relevant because he won? Question mark?
No, he lost Person of the Year.
Exactly.
Are you aware of what we're talking about?
No, you don't. Listen, I know he lost.
I'm not trying to be mean.
I understand. I know. I am, though, because you're not following. I understand he did not win. I understand that. Greta won, okay? We're talking about who should have won. We're not talking about what the losers did. Do you understand that? Are you following?
Yeah.
Stay on the fucking topic.
And we're done talking about it. And we're done talking about it.
Hey, Cutie Cinderella, no, I'm not going to whine at you, but you're also wrong. The topic was what has Greta Thunberg done for climate change?
Well, Trump tweeted about that.
Perfect. Great.
Yeah. Like he literally tweeted her.
Let's have a nice vote, eh, guys?
Well, the whole point is that I think what
Let's
she's
have a
doing
nice
is
vote and a
important,
cup
and
of tea.
I think it was in bad taste.
Okay, let's take a vote.
Tweet that.
Is any last thing?
vote.
Anything you'd like to say? Anybody? Okay. It's time to take a vote. Voting on who you want to keep, not kick. Keep, not kick. Wow,
Hey,
Cutie.
so
Richard,
I want to
haven't
say,
stopped thinking about your
like,
comings since we
Cutie
talked
was
the
just
first
like,
week.
fucking,
You're such a piece of
I'm
shit.
gonna
dude.
fuck this bitch up.
Just turn my
Listen, guys.
stomach to that shit, dog. It's unreal. Like,
All right. Hold on one moment. Here we go.
Intense.
Here we go. Jesus Christ.
This fucking Blue Yeti Mini Nano whatever is fucking bullshit, man. It keeps changing. It doesn't take sound well. Fuck this fucking mic.
Grow up.
Jesus, how does Sliker find himself at the top every goddamn time and not say a word?
Let's go game.
Dude, I didn't say. Okay, listen. Don't blame me for not saying a word.
Did you
okay?
win?
Don't blame him for having
I
people who
didn't
love
win.
him.
I didn't win. I don't know what you're talking about, Raj.
Well, the poll's still voting.
No,
So-
have you not seen who? Do you not see who's winning?
Well, I don't know. It's close. Oh, well, actually, maybe it's not. Vote in the poll. Who you want to keep, not kick.
Fucking hell, man. Do
Oh,
people hate
freak
me?
yes.
Hey chat, I just want to say that I love you all, and I mean, if Cutie doesn't want her flowers, I can give you guys flowers. These are all
Like,
for
you
you.
set yourself up for failure
Yeah.
with that super
They smell
cringe
good. They kind of
intro,
smell like
dude.
pot. There's something in here that smells like weed. I don't know what it is, but there's some tulips. There's some carnations. They're all kind of pretty, and they're all for you, chat. I will mail each and every one of you a little petal off of this. Watch this, like this, like chat loves me. Chat loves me not.
Cringe.
Chat loves me. Chat loves me.
Cringe.
Casey, are you mad because no one's ever sent you flowers? That's what it sounds like.
She's mad because no one's
Vote.
No, I'm just mad because I get called cringe and I never do shit as cringe as that.
Listen, Casey, you've been cringe for the last 6 years. It's
But not as cringe as that.
Really? Are you sure about that?
I'm
Because you've played the
positive.
fucking Pornhub logo bullshit for a long
It's
time.
a very classic logo.
It is.
Casey
a classic
Tron,
logo.
I know you have a problem with
might be
me, I
right.
can.
Casey Tron, he did one single act that was far cringe than anything you've ever done, but you built your entire name off cringe. So you've kind of like
Listen,
amounted
not
to more.
true.
I don't know. Like cringe is content. I mean, you know, it's just another form of
Cringe is
content.
not always content.
You don't think so? I mean, people
Sometimes
enjoy
cringe
it
is
in a
so
very
awful,
different
you have
way.
to turn off the stream, dude.
That's not true.
Vote.
Simply
I
not
close
true.
your stream every time.
Okay,
so it's
When's
Hey,
the
yo,
last
chill
time
out.
you watched
I
my
don't-
stream, Wes?
I don't
No,
want
this
last time I wanted
just
to
is
jerk off to a
bullshit.
fat chick.
I don't know how
This
that's
is
stupid.
bullshit. I've put out some great content. I have a new energy drink, Green Grove's Energy. I even did a stream where I showed how I make my bath water.
By
Those are
Okay,
turning on the
what have
fucking
you done?
faucet and putting your body in it. Holy shit.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that goes
Okay,
into making
all right.
bath water. Oh, what? Are you
Sliker,
mad that
congratulations
you can't
on
tell your
winning the
bath water?
poll.
Wow. Oh my fucking god.
Unbelievable.
Well, I mean, what else can you say? Anyone
Sliker,
here?
congratulations, you're first place. Bottom two.
Does anyone here want to object and objectify on the reason why I just won that round?
No.
won that round
no
because
one
you're
cares.
back.
Persist,
because you haven't been here
persist,
forever.
persist.
Because, assalamu alaikum.
He won that because he's got ride or die homies. That's why he wins. That's cool.
Why, dude? You really do not like me, Wes. Okay?
But that was a compliment, you fucking idiot.
I know.
Raj,
So
I said you got ride or
One
die
second.
homies.
Winner, you're also calling the bottom two.
I literally just said you have a very
Excuse
strong,
me,
dedicated
Mike, why don't you shut the
community. How
fuck
is that
up for a
an
second,
insult?
okay? And let Sliker
Okay.
and Wes talk. Go ahead. Sorry.
okay, no, listen. Okay.
Do you just want to hate me?
Who do I
Because
have
I'll
to
beat the
vote?
shit out of
Who
you
do I have to vote?
metaphorically.
Who do I have to vote out, Raj?
You get to choose between the bottom two, which is irrelevant. Not, I mean, the bottom two is relevant.
They are
Irrelevant,
irrelevant.
irrelevant, or who's it? The other one? Casey Tron.
What?
Irrelevant or Casey Tron?
Yeah.
I mean, politically
How could
speaking,
something like this
mathematically speaking, Casey Tron, don't hate me. Don't. Look at me. Look at her. She's all upset, man. Get out of here, mate. Back off. Back
Who?
off, Katie.
Who?
Katie Tron.
Casey
I
Tron?
do?
You want to eliminate Casey Tron from the show?
Yeah, you
Okay.
back off, mate.
I
All
thought
right,
we
so-
were cool.
I'm not doing this because of Squad W, okay? I don't know how I won. Don't fucking look at me and think why am I choosing? I don't know how the fuck I won. But listen,
Sliker, please don't. Please think about this. Just take a second and think about what you're doing.
who the hell are
She-
you
she
talking
ha-
to?
I met you one time like months ago. But think.
You
think,
never met me?
Think. I beg. Yeah, I have.
When?
Yeah, I have. Oh, well, you know how
I'm-
you always say fake? Can I
Oh my
expose you right now?
Fucking
Oh my
God, go
God.
ahead.
Well, like when I first met you, you told me that if I went on the Rajj show, that you would vote me in, like, even before I went on. That you would push me through to win.
Hey,
And you
was I
said
was I
you were
drunk?
gonna
Was I
cheat.
drunk? Was I drunk?
No, I don't
No,
think so.
I was drunk. I was drunk.
You're the fake one.
Collusion.
All along. That's
Okay,
my
first of
expose.
all, listen to this. Listen to this.
Please.
I don't mind. No, listen. Okay, listen to this. So you trying to expose me to
But
gain
that is
clout?
pretty fake.
No. I'm gonna stop you there. Okay, that's fine. Chat, listen to this. You can see I'm the same. If I said that, might have been true. Okay, listen. I'm a nice person. I'm a complete nice person. Anyone here want to downvote that shit? No, shut your mouth. But I'm gonna objectify this. Okay, women that go on shows and save all exposures just to expose someone.
Women
to
and
gain
men,
clout.
Sliker, right? Women and men.
Fuck the fucking women. All I'm saying is
Wait,
this, right?
wait, Sliker, hey, calm
Oh,
down.
right. Oh shit.
Sliker, he meant women and men, right, Sliker? What the fuck are you doing?
Fuck's
Come on.
sake, what am I saying, dude? Of course
Is this
I
why
meant
you're
women
kicking
and
me?
men.
Jesus Christ.
Of course I'm saying this, but listen
Is
to
this
this.
why
I'm
you're
saying this.
kicking
All
me,
right,
Sliker?
that's
Is
fine.
it
You can
because
say
I'm
that.
a
Listen,
woman?
listen, boys, listen. I don't care. I'm saying that as a joke. But let me say this. You
So
really
it's a
got me.
joke that you hate
Casey,
women.
try and fucking Raj kick her out.
Okay.
She out, mate. She out.
No, I'm
Okay.
just asking. So it's
She
a
kick her
joke
out.
that you
He
hate
He
women
doesn't
or
hate
what?
women. Sliker does not hate
So you
women,
don't?
okay?
Because he just
Okay,
said
Farah,
that he
I
did,
hate
and
you.
then he kicked
My
me.
sister is in the room. Would I hate my sister? If I
I don't
hated my
know.
if I hated my pet,
Is
if I
this-
hate. Go on.
Sliker,
If I
is
Is
this
it
hated
because
sister
I'm
hot?
fat?
girls, I would have.
What
I
is
would have
it?
left my mom.
What is it that people hate about me so much? I just don't really think it's fair, and I think these allegations of me being
Who
so
cares if people
just
hate you?
simply aren't true.
Okay.
I just
Are
think
you
they're
doing the
simply
cry
not
thing again?
true.
Casey Tron, come up with
No,
something
I'm
else
just-
every time you get kicked off a show. You know,
I'm
I'm sick
doing
of fucking
crying.
down where you play the victim
do
every time you
different
get
things
kicked
every
off.
time.
You cry,
Casey,
you bitch. Just
you're
say some
supposed to cry
fucking
about
zinger
the
and
voting
leave. Just
thing.
elbow everyone in the face through words and then leave. Fuck off with this crybaby
This
bullshit.
is messed up.
I'm not crybabying. I'm just.
What's the tone of your voice? It's a simp tone.
I think you're
Amp
being
that tone up.
sexist.
Okay, all right. Casey
you're
has
supposed to
been
cry
eliminated.
before they
Hold on.
vote.
Casey's been eliminated by Sliker.
Thank you.
Sliker,
Listen. Yes. I don't want. Why are you saying Slicker? Just kick her off for fuck's sake.
I'm going to shout her channel out. So Casey, go ahead and shout out your
you.
channel.
Twitch.tv/CaseyTron. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Casey.
Reverse
Appreciate it.
Reverse psychology.
Oh, hold
F in
Patience.
the chat.
on. Wait, reverse psychology, what?
I just wanted to piss her off. I no. Kick it irrelevant.
Casey, do you want to shout out your bathwater? Casey?
Wait, I said reverse psychology. Did she leave?
Yeah.
She's gone.
I was joking. Chill out. Irrelevant.
Wait, really?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You fucking wait. So who's getting kicked from the show? Is it Casey Tron or Irrelevant?
Are you changing your vote because you let that bit slip
Change
about
it.
fuck women?
Listen, did I change it? Did I
Like-
change it? No, listen, no, I'm gonna expose this fucking bitch in a minute. You shut the fuck up. And when I see I'm saying bitches into Hassan, the fuck you guys talking about? Dude, you guys confused? Cause I'm fucking confused.
Did you? Who's getting kicked?
Look,
you
you're
debated
always
everybody.
confused, brother.
Okay,
Who's?
ignore that.
Tell me right now who's
I've
getting
told you this.
kicked. Casey already left. Is she kicked or
Just
who's
stick with
kicked?
Casey. Speed this shit up, Slicker, buddy.
Is
No.
it Casey gone or is it? Were you debating her the whole time? Because she left.
No, listen. Okay,
just
listen.
do it,
Shut up. Listen. Oh shit, my bad. But listen to this. Wait. I was trying to debate her until she was about to leave, and I was gonna kick Irrelevant. Now she's
Fuck! She left. Where's Casey? We need her back then. If Irrelevant.
Alright, dude.
So Casey.
Good, Sliker. You
So
made a
Casey,
good
Casey.
decision.
Dude, I'm not doing this for you. Shut up, you fucking.
I'm proud
clout
of you.
chasing-
Okay,
fucking
where
clout
the
chaser.
hell? Okay, hold on. Let's see. Okay, let's see. There
Cloud
she is.
chaser.
Okay, so
Hey, don't
Casey's
worry-
back,
Don't worry about this. I'm
and
gonna
she
say
left
something.
too early before Slicker could debate her. But evidently, Irrelevant is the one being kicked from the show. Irrelevant, go ahead and shout out your channel.
Alright, I guess. You can find my stream at twitch.tv/irrelevant. I talk about philosophy, React, Andy, bullshit, all the typical, stereotypical bullshit, all that normal stuff. I stream at late hours, 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. All right. You all have a good one. Thanks for having me.
Have a good night, Irrelevant.
Right.
Thank you very much, Irrelevant. Thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it.
Santana.
All right.
Back like a
Casey.
No, I'm saying something. Please stop,
Look at her
Raj. Please
spread
stop.
her
I'm
wings.
not. I'm
Let me
relax.
say something.
Relax,
This
go
woman
ahead.
is not nice, okay? It reminded me of Candyland, how I sat with her and then I got a little boner, you get me? Man out here still, I don't give a fuck, I low with that shit, you get me?
Emphasis on
I
little.
flexed on that fucking boner and then she tried to expose me on stream because she wants all the chat to fucking love her, okay? So this is what this
But
retard...
you really did that,
Listen, no,
though.
listen to me, listen to me, okay? Listen to me. What, am I not allowed to say retard?
You're not.
No.
For picking on
Listen.
Lycan for cringe, this last 10 minutes
Oh
has been
my
total
God.
cringe.
Hey,
Okay,
listen,
I mean,
Basim.
Can we
it
do,
sounded
like,
like
if
you
you
basically.
break
Basim, mate, are you one of the simps that
Yeah.
voted for him?
Bossy,
Basim,
you were wearing a
voted for-
suit on a Twitch
Basim,
podcast.
right.
You cannot call
Excuse
me.
me. How
Thank
dare
you.
you discriminate against suits?
Okay, so listen to this. Okay, listen to this.
Mhm.
Zintana, when I met you,
Zintani.
I don't give a fuck a Tani, okay? Listen, when I fucking met you, did I say anything negative? No, listen. When I met you, did I say anything negative to you? Yes or no? Say it.
No.
So
no.
why did you expose me?
Well, because you always call these girls
Okay, no.
fake,
So
you do
why
that
did I expose
fake
you?
He
thing
calls.
that
He
you're
calls.
like,
Hold on
you
for the
are fake.
records,
But
Zintani.
you're
He calls
fake.
everybody fake. It's not just girls.
Also, I want to
Raj,
say,
Raj, Raj,
Listen. Let me, yo, you fucking talking. Get me one out here, gonna shank that boy, them. Now listen to this.
Whoa.
Alright. Listen. Okay, listen. Mama and Baba are sleeping, okay? I don't want Baba to come upstairs with a bell and smack me. Fuck's sake. Don't interrupt me, because when my words come out, I start stuttering. Boy, them's brains start functioning. You get me? So listen, Zintana, don't laugh. You fucking got simps all
Zintani.
fucking... I'm voting for Zintana. Buy your white fucking what's that shit on Amazon? They're gonna fucking buy all that shit, fucking cringe boys.
Okay.
Alright, listen to this. First of all, you expose me because you know you're gonna get the chat to start laughing at you. You fake person.
I don't have
No. I will
chat
remember this.
open.
I will forever remember this. Don't worry about this. I don't give a fuck. I'll expose. If I might have said that, chat, I don't give a fuck. She can say that, but it goes to show what a person she is. I might have said something nice to her in real life, chat, and she goes on the internet in front of 20,000 people
It
trying
wasn't
to
in
expose
real
me.
life.
No. Trying to expose me for no apparent reason.
Now
Stay
you're
as a
giving
fucking
fake information.
What she
dude.
tried to expose you for, Sliker? What
She
tried to
just said
expose?
that. No, she was just saying that. So can I expose you? Trying to fucking gain attention of the chat. Fuck the chat. Fuck my dick.
You guys
Okay? I don't
keep
give a
bringing
fuck about
up the
that shit.
chat
Yeah,
over
fuck
and
that
over.
dick.
It shows
Fuck it.
your true colors. Like
I
that's what
don't
you're
give a
thinking
fuck
of.
about
But
you. I
know-
don't remember. Listen,
no,
I don't.
But
You're
I
going
don't
out real
want
hard
the
for someone who
clout.
doesn't
If I
care.
wanted
You
the clout,
looking
you know
fucking
what,
retard.
Sliker,
Stop
though?
talking shit. Listen to this.
On
I don't give a
that-
fuck
that
about
day-
meeting you. Okay, I don't remember meeting you. So I was probably drunk. I was probably being nice because I was drunk. Stop talking shit.
Maybe she
Where
just
the hell
wasn't
did I
memorable.
meet you? Where did I
Well,
meet you? Tell me, where did I meet? In America?
it was
Oh,
on-
I met you in America, right?
No, I never met you in
Oh,
real
okay.
life.
So you passed the
Wait,
test. Give
hold
her a
on.
clap.
Where'd
Give her
you
a
meet
fucking
him?
clap.
Where'd you
Give
meet
her- Where
him?
the fuck
No,
did
I
meet you?
met you on Claw's stream.
Oh my god, this
Ah.
girl told me
Oh my
online.
God. Oh my God.
Come on, that
Everybody
shit.
was
I never
drunk
thought
on
to-
Claw's
okay.
stream, including Claw.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. I don't think he was drunk.
Slicker
at the
doesn't
time.
drink. He's Muslim.
But
Okay.
I'm not exposing you for clout. I don't think this is it's not a big deal. I'm just kind of poking fun. I don't.
Oh, now
I
you're
don't-
backtracking because you're getting bodied in this debate.
Okay,
No,
let's
no,
go.
no.
Let's go.
No, but
Give
wait,
us a
but-
topic,
but
Raj.
how
I got
you
a
guys,
topic.
like,
It's
please.
coming
you
straight
guys-
for you.
you
I got a
guys
topic.
always-
Give me that topic.
Yeah,
Give me
we
that
guys
sweet
always do
fucking
everything,
topic.
and you're awful. We're the worst. I'm sorry,
Well,
Zintani.
like you keep bringing up like doing stuff for clout, and it makes it so ingenuine. Because if anytime
Go
anyone
ahead.
says anything, you say, "Oh, you're just saying that for clout." It's like
So
why
why are
did
you
you
can
trying
say
to
have
that?
a
why are
What
you
was
trying
the
to
thing?
suck Destiny's dick then? Not for clout?
You don't
I'm
have
not
to
sucking
try to suck
Destiny's dick
Destiny's
ever.
dick. That dick's available at
I
any
just
point in time.
I just appreciate that. Well, Hassan is just a budget Destiny. That's true.
Oh
It's
That's
not
not-
me saying anything for clout.
Okay.
It's true.
Okay,
Everyone
Zintani,
was-
hold on, can I speak?
Hassan,
Can I
Hassan
speak?
sucks.
That's not fucking true at all.
Can I
Hey,
speak?
Raj,
Okay,
I know this is
that's
like top
so
tier
unfair.
content, but another subject would be cool.
Hassan is not a budget Destiny. He's a guy who wanted to hang with the big dogs, the big debaters, like Destiny, got fucking bodied, so now he hangs out with who-megalo debaters like Irrelevant, okay? That's who he is. Don't shame him.
Dude,
Please
what
give
is
him
your
what he
issue with
actually-
Irrelevant? Irrelevant's a good guy. He brings different takes on
Shut
issues.
up, boss.
He
You were in a
one-vied
fucking
everybody
suit on a Twitch
on the
podcast.
Sweet Anita issue. What's your problem with him?
You fucking pussy.
This
What?
is really
For streaming for a good guy
All right.
with good content? No way.
Shut up, simp.
Okay, let's get to a
Nice
topic.
one.
I've got a
Nice one.
topic for
Literally
you.
mean.
I got a topic.
Wait,
So,
did people bring up my name? I wasn't paying attention. I was too busy setting up my next React Andy stream and the YouTube videos that I will be reacting to later.
It's so cute that you're self-aware.
That's so exciting.
Okay, let's go to the topic. So, a woman in Minnesota.
It's exciting considering that the concurrents are much higher than most of the people here combined, right? So people seem to like it. I enjoy it too.
Yeah, you're really, really cool, Hassan. You're really cool. We all wish
He
we
is
could be
actually
like
very
you.
cool. Have you seen his fucking hair and fashion style? The motherfucker's fucking cool. Fucking topic, please, Roger.
Good content, man. Good content. I mean, it's good content. Also, it's good to be picked up by Destiny early on when you're a small streamer. That helps. Also helps to be picked up by your uncle to get a job from him. All that. But hey, you built it yourself, right? You built it all yourself. Fair enough.
Okay. All right. Here we go. A woman in Minnesota is suing 2 pharmacies, including CVS, for sex discrimination after she actually no. Let's go to a more relevant topic to what we talk about because Sliker said the R word. He said, let's see. Okay, fine. You want to do the CVS topic then? Whatever. Okay. CVS.
Retard topic.
Okay. CVS for sex discrimination after she claimed she was denied a morning after pill, an over-the-counter emergency contraceptive. She called in the prescription, and just before she went to pick it up, she received a call from a pharmacist who serves as a local pastor, saying that he couldn't fill the prescription because of his personal beliefs, her lawsuit claims. A second pharmacy also allegedly attempted to stop her from obtaining the prescription. Should it be illegal to refuse the morning after pill?
Listen,
Yes.
this one's real easy. It's not even about the morning after pill, right? That's like some shit that they're cloaking the matter of fact. If you feel that strongly about it, if it's your personal beliefs because you're a pastor or whatever wacky shit you get up to in your spare time, don't take that fucking job then, you idiot. It's your job to dispense medical care that people need, pills that people need. I don't give a fuck about your beliefs or whatever. Do that on your own time. You're employed by this company to dispense prescriptions. It's one of the craziest things in America, because I'll tell you, it doesn't happen in the UK. You don't fucking refuse people stuff based on because you're employed to do a fucking job.
Do you remember when the
ridiculous. This happens all the fucking time. It's so fucking stupid. It's just this wacky American shit where you got all these like Republicans, Christians, whoever the fuck they are, and they just get all hung up on like,
yeah. I mean, I'm inclined to agree.
Shit. It's so fucking dumb. Like it's.
I'm inclined to agree with you, Richard. But don't you think like there's any room for like religious exceptions to things? I mean, that's what it all boils down to, right?
Absolutely.
You can have your own religious exception.
You've got to be completely consistent in this.
Yeah.
Here's what always happens, right? People go, oh, well, would you tell a practicing Muslim that they couldn't wear a headscarf at work? Right? Well, of course I wouldn't tell them that, because that doesn't interfere with people getting fucking medicine they need.
That's true.
So it's just super simple. Your one job is to take the pills off the shelf. You're a fucking pharmacist. You're not a doctor. You don't have a mind, really, right? You're basically a medical school dropout. Take the pills.
There's a lot more. There's a lot more.
Richard is absolutely fucking right.
Imagine someone who writes. Wait, hold on. Hold on, Richardlewis. I'm gonna attack the fuck out of you. Imagine being someone who never accomplished anything himself and just writes about the successes of others, calling someone else a fucking drama.
I'm sorry.
Who the fuck are you talking to?
That's not the fuck you're talking to. Do you realize who the fuck Richard fucking Lewis is? Do you realize the impact?
Hey, I was fighting with Richard, not you.
The United fucking States.
You're going back to the cringe.
Is this the part
Well, Wes, who the fuck do you think you are? You're 3 times my fucking size, and you're always attacking my weight.
Why is Casey Strong still?
You're 3 times my fucking size, and you're calling me fucking fat like you have any fucking room.
Raj.
So what the fuck are you talking about, bitch?
Obese can identify.
Hold on 1 second.
I've got obese.
I've realized that we now have content that's somehow worse than can people say the N-word. It is who's more relevant than one another. None of us are relevant. That's why we're on the fucking Rajj Royale podcast.
Hold on now. Oh, come on now. Don't throw me.
Raj, you realize this is the guy you protect. You specifically don't talk about topics involving him.
Okay, now we're not going to go into that.
Every time
we were over it.
Has to attack him. That's
cool.
cool.
All over you.
Can we get back to like any sort of subject that we were talking about instead of
politics, no politics.
But it's just like insanely cringy that people are like, you're irrelevant. Like, yeah, dude, we're all irrelevant. We're on fucking Twitch. Okay, shut the fuck up.
That wasn't even an argument.
You were on Fox
I was shit talking medical doctors because they're fucking pharmacists.
Look, I guess I don't know like why you're like knocking down pharmacists who are a very integral part of the healthcare process, but I feel like
hold on.
Come on, you must be familiar with
True, Wes, you fucking dumb fuck.
Throwaway comment. You know, whatever.
Well, obviously, I'm
Fucking
sure.
dumbass.
I get what you're saying.
Hold on.
Talk like you
What I don't get is like
Casey, clogging the airways.
What I don't get is like why is there like no room for religious exceptions in like private practice? Like they're required by law to tell you, okay, well here's a place you can go to get the medication. I mean, if people feel really strongly about this stuff, you can just choose to go to another
The needs
provider.
of that patient must absolutely trump that person's desire to not serve that patient, because that's the end of it. It's like, listen, I get that you're allowed to have the religious beliefs, and that's protected under the Constitution and everything. But once you enter a place of work, that has to be a degree of almost like you have to check all that shit at the door. You can't then, especially with the morning after pill, well, time counts.
Yeah, no, I'm inclined to agree with you. I'm just trying to push back with what I think is a pretty common objection though, which is that like these are, I mean, if a private enterprise, doesn't want that, that's up to them. But if the enterprise allows religious exceptions, I mean, that's a crucial way in which people express
religious
themselves.
exceptions are usually based on personal, not how you project your religion on others. See, that's fucked up here, is that the guy has the religious exception, so he denies someone else healthcare. That's where it's bullshit.
I mean, I think the thing that makes this issue so complicated too is that it feels like the people who claim this exception often like conflate the morning after pill with abortion when it is entirely a separate thing. Right?
Wait, I'm confused, Basia. Are you saying that you're on the side of the pharmacist in this circumstance? Like, am I getting that right?
I don't really like the pharmacist's argument that this is a religious exception, but I feel like it's worth sticking up for to some degree because I mean this is a long-standing part of American, constitutional jurisprudence.
Why are we listening to men talk about morning after?
Casey, hold on 1 second, Casey. Let the men speak.
Like a Muslim. Would you be on board with like a Muslim Parents Association, or like a Muslim school denying like some sort of education to children on the basis of their religious identity? Like you're fine with protecting that too? I'm confused.
Yeah, I mean, these are things that are frustrating to me as somebody who doesn't want to deny anybody this healthcare or education, but like there's a long-standing tradition of religious education in this country. So sure, I mean, Muslim schools would probably have different
misinforming people as long as there is like there's like a religious reason behind it.
I mean,
it happens all the time, by the way. This is already a thing that exists. I think it's a massive problem. We should be fighting against it. And we should absolutely be fighting against that too.
Sure.
The point is, I support religious freedom as well, but as long as your religious freedom does not infringe on other people's liberties, and I think that not being able to get your medicine from a particular pharmacy exclusively because you have a different kind of feeling about the morning after pill is absolutely infringing on another person's liberty.
I think it infringes on their liberty if they have no alternative source to get it. So there might be situations in which that's the case. Like maybe in some kind of small town, there's no other pharmacy, and as a result, maybe you can't make that exception. The same way that I guess if you didn't like if you were talking about a government school instead of a private Muslim school, there would be a different religious standard. But I think the notion that people should be able to exercise their religious freedoms in ways that affect others, I mean that's important. It's just a context sensitive issue as to whether what kind of effect, like whether you're misinforming somebody through a religious education is an entirely subjective question. I mean, some people would say I'm an atheist, for example. It feels like all religious education is misinformation, right? But a lot of people disagree with that. So
damn. Okay.
Smart.
Casey, since you're
fine with misinforming people, that's what I wanted to understand.
Well, also, no, I mean, do you view like religious education as always misinformation?
Is like,
no, is that what you're saying?
To bounce off of what you said, Basia, to bounce off of what you said, as far as like denying people like medical care, for example, in the state of Oklahoma, the overwhelming majority of hospitals are actually privately owned. I mean, they're all privately owned, but they're all in the same Christian network. So they're all the overwhelming majority of hospitals in the state of Oklahoma are Christian hospitals. So they will routinely deny medical care to people if they ever get an abortion, and that's on their medical record. So that's like one way that actually people do subject others to their own interpretation of how the world should be, and then that does have damaging consequences. And the government doesn't step in these circumstances. As a matter of fact, they're pro-religion. as we know from this administration, that has had really harmful and really damaging consequences in red states to women who want to get medical treatment but can't.
Haven't they?
Can I ask you two questions on that, Hassan? Because you raised some good points there. So 2 questions. First of all, when you say misinformation, I'm saying that people should be able to educate their children in their religious tradition if they want. I'm not saying that's, I mean, you could argue that that's a kind of misinformation, but I think that's a different view of the world. I don't think that's necessarily
for example. If they're teaching, you're an atheist, if they're teaching creationism at school and completely denying, I mean, I'm not going to say climate change because I don't think you have a problem with climate change misinformation, but
what makes you say that? I've been talking about climate change in a very positive way all night.
Let Hassan finish.
Okay.
If they're teaching creationism, for example, and or even like they have a anti-vaccine stance, for example, and that genuinely harms the public because of herd immunity being tampered with and herd immunity getting compromised, then yeah, it definitely has a harmful impact. I think denying someone medical care or of any sort on the basis of your religious identity is absolutely a, as the Republicans would like to say, slippery slope that is terrifying.
You're absolutely right that there is a slippery slope there. And I mean, that's for better or for worse, an inherent part of all our constitutional rights, right? I mean, the ability to exercise your First Amendment right or your Second Amendment rights or whatever. Yeah, there's a slippery slope that you can go to extreme. Maybe if you permit violent threats or machine guns or whatever. Yeah, I mean, there's always a slippery slope issue here. But when we're talking about different rights in conflict, I think you have to sometimes think about them in a very balanced way. And in the situation you described in Oklahoma, for example, I don't know how these service providers, like I'd be curious for more background information. Maybe you could drop me a link or something, where how can they discriminate against people for their previous medical treatment when that kind of information is supposed to be private, like by federal law?
Well, they're all
that
under
would be
the
an
same
extreme
network.
HIPAA violation.
If they get an abortion in like an emergency situation, they get then they're on a list where they'll get denied medical coverage. I mean, denied medical care from all the other of the other private all the other private hospitals in that same Christian network.
Yeah, I want to know like how that works, how they could be discriminated against for getting an emergency abortion by a religious institution. Like, are they providing the abortion?
Hold on, I do think there's Casey did have a point. Casey and Cutie are the only women on the oh, actually, Zitani is here, but she's not here. Does anybody want to talk about? Do any of the women want to chime in on this topic at all?
I would go to the Walgreens down the street.
Yeah, I mean, there's
a number of different issues where people selfishly use religious freedom to hurt others and to enforce their oftentimes archaic points of view. And I, as someone who also wants to protect religious freedom for people who want to practice it in the comfort of their own homes or in the privacy of their own homes, should not be able to enforce their standards of living on others in this way. That's literally the point of a secular government. Why do we even have a fucking secular government with the separation of church and state if they're not going to enforce this sort of this standard across the board?
So, like, what does religious freedom mean to you? Like, does it mean just whatever you do in your house, that's it? I mean, like, that's a big.
Listen, I wouldn't have a problem with a religious school, but it better operate outside of the state system. It better not be getting any state funding. It better not be getting any public money. You want to teach your wacky bullshit to a bunch of fucking kids because you've got to keep indoctrinating people and keep your numbers up in a scientific age. Like, fucking have at it, right? Like, but you're definitely not getting a penny of taxpayers' money. Fuck that. I mean, that's an absurdity, right?
It shouldn't even be fucking tax deductible. It shouldn't even be fucking tax-free. It shouldn't be tax exempt.
The fact that they've got tax-free exemption is an outrage. And then they want, on top of that, they want to fucking tell you what you can and can't do in privately owned businesses.
Wait, are we?
No.
Richard, I'm sorry.
They want their cake and they want to fucking
Children
eat
are
it
a
all the
blessing from
time.
God.
Religions in America. It's
Are
absurd.
we talking about churches, Richard?
Yes. Well, no, but I'm specifically the school because that's what Bastille brought up.
Okay.
But you know.
There's
I agree with you. No public funding, but I just feel like to say that you're for religious freedom, which I guess everybody in here seems to be. It seems
Only on
like
principle.
well, what does that mean in practice, though? Like, if that doesn't mean you can really exercise your religion in some way that is meaningful to you, then I don't let you have it. I mean, it's a context-sensitive situation. You're absolutely right. There's situations where you're going too far, but I mean, I don't think educating your children in your religious tradition is going too far.
Imagine if the woman did have a child, though, and how
much
there's a big difference for her life.
There's a big difference between educating someone and your religious views and someone not being smart enough to realize, well, I can't push this in my career. I can't deny people other, rights like this, like healthcare, just because I think it's wrong for my religious reasons. You have to be able to
remember,
disconnect
Bastier,
those two.
the religious stuff they teach in the schools, it's not in addition to a scientific education.
Yeah.
It's in place of.
I agree. Hey,
So-
I don't think this is I don't think this is good stuff. But I mean, I guess that's like, I don't feel like, when Nazis are marching up and down the street waving their swastika banners or Soviet stuff or whatever, like that's not good stuff. But I think it should still be protected by the First Amendment.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay, but this isn't a First Amendment issue.
This is a First Amendment issue, though. This is like freedom of religion, right? The way you express it. And I know it's complicated by the fact that there's a private entity.
Subject to your interpretation.
I don't know if
Subject to your interpretation, as is everything else in everything else it captures under the First Amendment umbrella. So like your interpretation or the common interpretation of that might change any time.
Well, I mean, you're right that it always is subject to how a court will interpret it. But I think that right now,
anything that infringes on other people's liberties, as far as like getting medical care or as far as like getting the pharmaceutical care that a doctor literally fucking prescribed to them, should not be interpreted as religious freedom. And as a matter of fact, the only reason why it is interpreted as that is because of the funding that special interest groups have in changing legislation, or at least changing the conversation around it of what is under the umbrella of
let's wrap it up. I want to get
contraception and
let's wrap it up
pills for a long time.
Let's wrap it up, Bastiat. Wrap it up. It's time to wrap it up.
And just for one more
I said it's time to wrap it up! What time is it? Time to wrap it up!
I'm wrapping it up right here, Raj.
You're wrapping it too slowly.
That's what she should have done in the first place, and we wouldn't be having this conversation.
It's time to wrap it up.
Raj, can I get the last word, please?
No, like it.
This is the kind to say, no, I want to talk. A woman wants to talk. Can a woman talk?
Yes.
No.
Not in this country.
That was crazy. That's the problem with all of you guys on this fucking stream right now is you all want to have the last word, and it's exhausting. Just shut up.
Because we're gonna get voted off if we don't get the last word. I've been the last two for the.
Well, like it. Why don't you get a word in before?
And I don't give a fuck.
If you're so shit at conversation that you have to wait till the last second to farm votes, you shouldn't be here in the first place, you shitter.
Fucking talk this whole fucking time.
Like, there's no farming of votes here and trying to
Your
express
mic's
the
at
fact.
3%. Maybe that's an issue.
It's time to vote. Vote for you on a keep, not kick. Keep, not kick. The rounds are going to get shorter, so we're going to have to wrap it up, Bastiat.
All right. Look, let me wrap it up while everybody's voting.
No! Stop it!
What I'm trying to make is...
No, you're going to...
Be quiet.
This isn't like something that's
Bastiat,
gonna win
you
votes.
shut up!
I'm trying to finish the point here.
Your point is gone. Nobody's...
Point is over.
They will not heal. That was good.
Is that Linkin Park?
I hated that.
Americans.
I'm from the UK. I wish I was a gangster instead I'm a little fucking shrimp man.
Him!
Cringe from America. The country they want to let you is super fucking cringe.
Let him reply.
Are you seeing this? Are you seeing? Don't fucking laugh, Raj. What are you talking
No,
about?
it's just
Sliker,
funny because
reply.
every voting round is
I'm
Wes
saying-
versus
listen.
Sliker.
No, can't be asked for this, man. You can say all you want, dude, but yo, Wes is a buster. Straight facts.
It's hard being
I
called busted
don't
by
need
someone
to
who
know.
looks like they go to my fucking middle school, kid.
Dude,
I
listen.
can't take what you say seriously because you're built like a little.
I can't take what you say seriously because you're so fat and you're wearing a pumpkin shirt. You look like a pumpkin. You're so fat. Oh my god, nobody likes you. Please leave this fucking show!
Get me?
Jesus
Listen,
Christ.
1 6 on money on a
They're
fucking
so
map.
unfunny.
We ain't
They
fucking
try so
fun.
hard.
You hate what?
You've been trying way harder.
Oh, that was rude.
Go ahead and
Yeah,
vote
it
for
was
you on a
rude. Well, I
keep,
think I
not
said it to
kick,
be nice.
chat. Keep, not kick. Keep, not kick. Keep, not kick. Vote, 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 vote.
Nobody likes you, Wes. You're a hurtful person.
Good.
You're mean.
The pharmacists and doctors are
That's
required
not
by law
going
to
to
provide
get
you
you
with information
anywhere.
for where else
I
you
don't
can get the
want to get
medication
anywhere,
they
as long
refuse
as
to
it's
provide.
not
Okay.
rent free in your fucking
Did he
mind.
do that? Did he do
Start
that?
crying, Casey. I'm
Nobody's
not gonna write
thinking
a
about
apology.
you. I
I'm not
never
gonna
think
write an
about you.
apology. I'm not gonna fucking write one. I want you to fucking cry.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Whoa.
Learn your
gonna
place,
cry.
bitch. It's below me.
Do you really think that you're gonna make me cry, Wes?
You whimper a lot, like a hurt. Wes, I just can't
It's
believe
just how my
anyone
voice
is about me.
It's just how my voice sounds.
You just have a cunt voice then. I hate it.
Jesus Christ. Wes, you knock it
He's
off.
just so mean. Like it's
I'm sorry,
you get more
Casey.
bees with honey,
Casey,
Wes.
Casey, if you
babe?
need to cry, just let it all out, okay?
cry, Casey.
I'm not. I'll do it on my own stream.
Okay.
Smart.
All right.
Smart. Should've done that.
All right. The vote is still going. Nobody's voting though. Let's go ahead and vote. Everybody vote.
I need to do some analysis.
All right. Let's see. Nobody's voting. All right. The vote's coming through, and it's still going through. It's a little stalled. Give it a few seconds. All right. Well.
Boys, let me say something, Raj.
Yes.
As a professor, there's a guy in the chat pod, Passy1612. Now let me hold you up, chat, okay?
Yeah.
He's saying Sliker Simps. Technically, you cannot laugh and say Sliker Simps when I just checked your logs and you are in every female so you are an individual yourself.
Was he in mine?
Do not talk shit, okay? Little buster.
I don't have
Bro,
any
listen,
Sims in my stream.
Casey Trump, let me say something.
Oh.
Go on Amazon, put a wish list, something. Put a wish list. I'm sure this guy will go on it and purchase it for you. I'm telling you, dude.
Casey John, put a donation goal to pay for your taxes.
I don't know what it's gonna be yet. So.
Do you? How many years did you not pay taxes, Casey Tron?
It's just for one. It's for 2016.
Oh, you didn't pay
Personal
taxes at all?
information, man.
Jesus. All right.
No, I've paid taxes for other years, and I filed my taxes. I just am late on my payments.
Oh, you just haven't paid them.
But I
Okay.
have a lawyer. I'm getting it taken care of.
Is Bastiat your lawyer?
No.
I'm not, but I would say don't talk about your tax issues on live stream.
I got audited.
That's private stuff.
I got thought audited. Yeah,
Okay. Okay, here we go. It is time. Oh my god, I didn't even realize that when I said wrap it up, it was a joke relevant to the contraception. Wow. I didn't even know I was making a joke. That was a good one. Good one, me. Okay, the vote's in.
Jesus.
The results are through. Wrap it up. Bottom two. Cutie, Cinderella, and Lycan. Sliker, you won the round. Hassan, you came in second place. So that means that you get to decide on who.
Wait, didn't Sliker vote? Or
yes,
did
that's what I'm saying. So
someone
Hassan
else vote last round, not me.
It was
or
Sliker.
Not Sliker.
Yeah, exactly. It was Sliker that voted last round.
It was?
I voted.
And the bottom two is
God damn
between
it.
Cutie, Cinderella, and Lycan. Hassan, who are you going to eliminate from the show?
Ugh. Shit, I don't know.
Okay.
I already saved Liga one time.
You can't just save your own default of that. You got to come up with something.
Cutie, Cinderella, do you have a compelling case to make?
I don't know, man. Maybe I'm the only girl that's talked this whole time, so I guess that's annoying. So you should probably cut me. It sucks.
You see what she's trying to
Why
do?
are you making a
She's trying
case to cut you, dude? What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm just,
No,
I'm
she's
trying to.
trying-
I can go to my stream and get donos and subs, or I could be here.
Oh man, Cutie, that is beyond
shit.
dirty. You know that? That is so dirty.
Right.
You see what she's doing, Hassan.
I'm just so dirty.
You know what?
I've been hearing
Fuck it.
you
I'm cutting Lycan, dude. Just because Cutie said she was gonna fucking go back.
Or did I want to stay here to get more
defend
views and
myself?
more
Okay,
follows?
all right. Well, then that's done. All right, Cutie's out.
What?
Oh!
Cutie's out.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I'll
You've
kick
cut
both of you.
2 females today. You've cut 2 females today. I just want to point
Seems
that out.
very sexist.
Very suspicious, Hassan.
I guess.
I'm
The
starting.
chat
to
immediately went from
Simp
simp to squad W, squad W, squad W. No
Okay.
matter what you choose, you're fucked, bud.
Cutie
Okay.
Cinderella gave the only good, coherent opinion today, in my opinion.
It's so great that you say that
Thank
because you're
you.
realizing
It's the
that
only one
everything
I
you
can
say is
really
shit.
follow.
Okay.
All right, good
All right. Go
It's
ahead,
only
Cutie
for the
Cinderella, and
fish
shout out your
scallopers.
channel.
Cutie Cinderella on Twitch or Instagram or Twitter. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Okay, Cutie.
She's
Do you
going to
ever
get her
get
donations
jealous
now.
when someone gets
All right.
to leave? You're like,
Let's move on to another
One
topic.
less woman, am I right?
Oh
fellas?
boy, do I have a
Lycan,
topic for you?
Shut the fuck up.
I have a topic for you. Which one have I haven't gotten to that I really like? Oh yes. Okay.
Why aren't we doing the Cenk topic? That's really interesting.
Whoa!
The jank topic.
Yeah.
I'll
can do
get-
I always mispronounce his name.
you want to do the jank topic? Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
100
absolutely.
I mean, I don't care. We can talk about
Well,
it.
I haven't even
Hassan being here, obviously, and being
Yeah, no.
you know,
I just
affiliated with the Young
it came up. It came up. I don't know. For some reason, it's not in my documents. So we have to create a topic around it. I'm not familiar with everything, but from what I understand, Bernie Sanders endorsed Cenk, who is a political commentator on the Young Turks. In fact, I think he's the founder of the Young Turks.
Yeah.
He was endorsed by Bernie Sanders.
You want me to explain it? You're doing a terrible job.
Okay.
Cenk is running for CA 25. Cenk is running for California 25. It's a congressional district in California. This is a special election because the previous person that held the seat was this chick named Katie Hill, who got hit with a bunch of revenge porn and then had to resign, okay? Her ex-husband was like, oh, fuck her. Like, look at all the naked photos of her. She tried to fuck a staffer, all this stuff. So then Cenk got in the race, and immediately he's going up against another woman from California politics by the name of Christy Smith, and she's an establishment Democrat. So like they started defending her hardcore. There was this person who dedicates her entire time to opposition research on Bernie Sanders and Cenk and like any number of other progressives that may or may not work with the Democratic establishment, that compiled like through thousands of hours of Cenk broadcasting over the course of his 20-year career in political broadcasting, compiled like a massive list and then started distributing that list to journalists. And they've been just engaging in this like crazy smear campaign. As soon as Bernie Sanders endorsed Cenk, this was big news, of course, for the CA25 race. LA Times, New York Times, like immediately started attacking him and attacking him in ways that were like insane. They said that because Cenk had David Duke on his show, who is a white nationalist, as you guys know, ex-Grand Wizard of the KKK, because he had David Duke on his show, they were like, oh my God, he actually supported David Duke, because he sarcastically said, when David Duke said, yeah, I'm not racist, by the way, Cenk said, yeah, you're not racist. Like the New York Times fucking printed this shit, including the LA Times and a bunch of other publications, completely fucking smearing him. And Cenk has said some dumb shit in the past that he deleted years ago and apologized for it too. On top of that they keep resurfacing because, as we all know here, everyone is at this point aware of this. When liberals want to attack someone, they can immediately pull shit from your past, and it doesn't matter if you've ever said, I'm sorry for saying those things. It doesn't fucking matter. It's just a way to smear someone and attack them.
Okay, hold on.
I have a more nuanced approach to this, but I'll just let everyone else talk about it, and then I can give you my more nuanced take on this.
I know, but I wanted to bring up the fact that he was I know you gave your defense essentially for Cenk, which is obviously relevant. But
I have more to say on that.
Well, I know, but I was trying to introduce the topic, which was the topic had to do with Bernie Sanders endorsing him and then retracting his endorsement because of some things that he had allegedly said in the past or associated with, as you alluded to.
That is protection.
So let's go into the topic, I suppose. Richard, do you have anything to say about it?
Yeah, well, this is why I wanted to talk with Hassan about it. I'm sorry if it's really selfish. I don't want to like hijack the fucking podcast just because I wanted to pick his brains, but I don't think he would have talked to me any other way. But
no, I would have talked to you. You blocked me on Twitter.
That's not true, dog. I hit you up on Discord enough times. You never reply.
Wait, you've hit me on Discord?
I messaged you. Yeah, when you did that,
well, I didn't know that. All right, well, we can talk about it on Discord anyway. Go on, but what's your point?
Yeah. So, this is what I think is interesting about this, right? Because, by the way, I actually don't have any issues with Cenk. I've got some issues with the Young Turks and sometimes the spin that they put on stories, but I mean, that's all media outlets. But I think the reason I wanted to talk about this topic while you were here, San, is because this is kind of like the same sort of shit that was going on with Trump. You know, they did it with Bernie. Now they're doing it with Cenk, and it's like this should be an issue that can sort of unify, if you like. People can come together and start seeing what the political machinery and the mainstream media does when it tries to monster political figures that are outside of that machinery and are going to come in and are going to change things.
They've been doing it, and we've been talking about it. So that's the thing.
But the reason why I think it's interesting for you is, and I know you know I think this, so it's not a surprise to you, is that I think you've peddled some stories that are a little bit disingenuous or inaccurate about Trump as fact.
Who are you talking about? Me? I did this?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the past, like when the only other time we've talked about it, you had a sort of tendency to play along with the media lies about a candidate that you obviously don't feel favorable to, And they've done it, like as I said, they lie about Bernie, they lie about Cenk. The mainstream media is part of the political machinery in America, and I think it's interesting that sometimes, well, I don't know, I'm not going to speak for you, but it kind of feels that sometimes you're okay with that if it's for a bad candidate.
So here's what it is. So do I think that the media overextends when they're criticizing Trump? Absolutely. Do I think that the media sometimes doesn't criticize Trump enough? Also, absolutely. Here's the problem. Like, for example, when Donald Trump obviously posts a fucking meme and everyone loses their mind over it, and the New York Times is like writing a fucking article about how the dog is not real, it's a photoshopped image. Like, I dunk on the media quite frequently for shit like that. But I think the conversation that you and I had pertained to Donald Trump talking about how he's going to move 5,000 troops to the border long time ago. And I said that this was going to have a really terrible and harmful effect, and said that it would literally be a declaration of war.
With respect,
and I said that it would have been a literal declaration of war if they fired on
specifically
people
you said he
in
was
a
doing
different...
it to trigger a race war with Mexico, which was the hyperbole.
No. Hold on. I said that if the military shot people, this would be, in any like normal circumstance, considered, if any other country outside of the United States did it, it would be considered an act of war. But because the United States has global power, unlike any other nation, they can do whatever the fuck they want. And by the way, I was right in that conversation. They did fucking tear gas a bunch of Honduran and Guatemalan moms with their fucking children in tow. Like, it's not like that was it's not like that situation was dealt with in a...
Yes, it definitely
did.
It's
not like that situation was dealt with in a non-violent way.
He didn't even send the prescribed the talking point number to the border. It was actually done just before the primaries, if you remember.
So do you think that I shouldn't take the president seriously when he says I'm moving 5,000 troops, and then
no,
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, like, instead of 5,000.
If you're a political commentator, you should have enough political nous to realize that that was like a planted story designed to rile up his base.
Is there a way we can talk about this so we can include the entire
sure,
cast of people?
But this is more about the Cenk stuff. Sorry,
racial agitation, and it's still bad. But if you say that like I engage in hyperbole when it comes to Donald Trump, I don't agree. I think that I take Donald Trump very seriously as any president, as I would take any president seriously when they say insane shit. Now, I also have the wherewithal to understand when Donald Trump is like memeing or when he's like overextending. But if he's just memeing about racism, then that's entirely different, because as you alluded to it is literally to demagogue to his own base that he's going to be violent towards immigrants that are coming in over the border that are... that we don't know if they're criminals or not.
Let's wrap this topic up, because I mean, we can go, but the topic itself, I want to talk about Cenk, Bernie Sanders retracting his endorsement of Cenk, but I honestly am okay. If anybody else wants to speak on it, I'm okay with moving on. I'd like to move on to something else
let's move on.
Because I don't think anybody is going to have
politics.
No, I just don't think people are going to. I just don't think people have enough knowledge to engage with it.
Yeah,
Richard and Hassan obviously do.
I think Richard is right, though. That the media does.
People come out of left field bringing up like old clips from the past and isolation.
Richardlewis is right. Richardlewis is right when he says that mainstream media absolutely fucking attacks relentlessly anyone who is outside of it, and it's not always undeserved, but they also do have a tendency to protect those in positions of power, as we have seen over and over again, like the case of Harvey Weinstein, until it was impossible for them not to protect him.
Okay,
hold on. This time is absolutely unconscionable, though. It's like, it's ridiculous, the shit that they're banging on him for. Is like,
it does seem like there's a real bias in the I guess the traditionally, what's traditionally called the mainstream media, in favor of like those who are already viewed as like the legitimate guys, the establishment credential, and that's kind of a drag. I mean, it's easy to pull clips from Cenk, or from anybody for that matter, probably, that are out of context. Like I know, like that Armenian genocide stuff where he's changed his opinion. He came around to the fact that it happened, right? And so rather than like pillorying somebody for those positions in the past, it feels like it's kind of slimy in that respect. That said, I totally get why why Bernie Sanders is like, I don't want to get involved with this. I got a lot at stake.
Wait, can I call some shit out real fast?
Cenk, to his credit, said, I totally understand that. So,
Hassan, this is so weird to hear you say people don't give enough credit to people who apologize. You're the same guy who brings up shit Trump did 10 fucking years ago to back up your political argument.
Well, hold on,
but since it's your fucking family, suddenly your whole
No. This is why I said this is a more nuanced conversation. We can, of course, have that. I've talked about this extensively on my YouTube, on my Twitter, on my Twitch, on my Twitter. This is not like a new subject for me. Cancel culture is something that is an ongoing issue in every facet of politics, especially in online politics. The nuanced take here is that if the things that you have done in your past that you have never accounted for, that you've never apologized for, are still relevant, if they are also an indication of what your current position is, then of course it's acceptable to do. But in the case of Jake, he literally apologized. Donald Trump has never apologized for taking out full page ads on the New York Times and many other publications calling for the death penalty for the Central Park Five. He literally was asked this question, like, do you feel apologetic for doing that after they were found to be not guilty? And he said, no, this happened in 2019. So that's entirely different than like someone who was admittedly blinded by nationalistic propaganda and like said the Armenian genocide didn't happen, which is not a position that I hold either, by the way.
Did he take
there were clips of that, right? But he changed his opinion, and that's, that's what we want, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know why. I think it's frustrating that people
like and check your DMs.
We want people to be able to redeem themselves. That's the whole point. This is a big frustration that I have with the left as well. As a matter of fact, I'll give an example through Destiny. I have defended Destiny a million times over directly to journalists who literally would say like, oh, he's homophobic because he's been banned for using the F word or whatever, or because of the fucking because of the other shit that happened in the past. Like, I've literally DM'd journalists that written articles like, hey, that's not true. He does a lot of good work for de-radicalizing people. Like, and I have. And to this day, if someone says Destiny doesn't do shit, he sucks, he's whatever, I'll still say, well, look, we might have our disagreements, and we certainly have a lot of disagreements, but you cannot deny that he has definitely de-radicalized. He's an asshole. He's an asshole.
Okay, hold on. Let's wrap this up. And then we're gonna go take a vote.
Sorry, Raj.
Hey, Raj is cool when you talk shit about Destiny, but not about his friend Hassan.
No, fuck off, Wes. This is a boring fucking topic. That's why I want to move on. I'm bored by the topic. We can talk about this all day long. Look at the chat. They don't want to talk about it, Wes. They don't want to talk about it, Wes. We can talk about this all day long. If I really didn't want to talk about it, I wouldn't talk about it, Wes.
You stupid fuck.
There you go. This is what
That's not what I'm saying. You can get as mad as you want, but I'm saying when we talked about Hassan and shit post at Hassan,
we already talked about it. We already talked about this. We already talked about this. We had a discussion. We had a discussion about this already, Wes. This was I went on Destiny stream to talk about it. I went on Hassan's stream to talk about it. It's over with. All right.
It's done. Stop trying to ignite old flames.
You gotta send these memos before the shows, dude. I wasn't there. I didn't see that fucking show.
He sent out the memo with the script, dumbass.
I was not on that show.
You were on the Rajj Royale last week. Yes, you were.
No, I
2
wasn't.
weeks ago.
Yeah,
I believe in redemption. I believe that if you have, and this is not like just for jank or anything, I believe that if you have said some fucked up shit in the past, but you've honestly atoned for that and you've had a change of heart or a change of mind, if this includes Richardlewis as well, like this is something that I wanted to hear, to talk to him personally about, as far as like working at Breitbart, or if he feels like bad about that, or what he feels about Milo Yiannopoulos.
Quite a bit. When that story came out about Stephen Miller, basically like linking the editors, like all the white supremacist stuff, I gotta hold my hands up. I didn't think that was going on. I went from regretting working there. I can now officially say that I'm unequivocally ashamed of having worked there.
Okay. See, I'm putting a poll in the chat. The round's over. Go ahead and vote for you want to keep, not kick.
That's a perfectly reasonable position.
Keep, not kick. Vote for you want to keep, not kick.
0161. Manny on the map.
Shut up, retard. You're Rajj. I'm going to look at
You can't say that word.
Why?
Apologize. Slicker's got to go poop. He has had...
Oh, I didn't say that. Read message.
Oh wait. Oh, okay.
Idiot. That was before. You don't say that.
Oh, okay. I thought you had to poop.
Manny on the map.
I don't know. Am I getting botted? I don't know if I'm getting botted.
No, you're not. People are just voting, especially with Casey Tron doing that.
Fair enough. Can we hold off on the vote, so we can have another topic? That would be really good.
Fuck off, Lycan. That
topic had some potential. I don't know why it got derailed. Like it went into a really interesting topic about like redemption and like what kind of things can be redeemed and what can't. Like there's a lot to that.
Bastiat, let me tell you something, Bastiat. Sometimes there's topics that are maybe interesting to some of the people on here, but to the audience, they don't necessarily find any relevance to their personal lives. So that's why we moved on from the topic.
You don't feel like redemption for comments made in the past could be a super interesting topic?
No, all they care about is shit posting on live stream fails, dude.
Hey, look, I disagree with Hassan on a lot, but I feel like that was a really interesting topic.
Wow, that's really cool, Boston.
I think it's an interesting topic too, but unfortunately, a lot of people don't agree.
Yeah, it's a fucking show. I get it. We move on. People don't care to hear about it, then fucking move on. That's cool.
Listen, I just want to say.
You know what? Honest to God, you all are so. Fuck this show, man.
He'll be back in 2 seconds.
He's gone.
He's switching to his laptop.
Oh my goodness.
And that's when anal brutality comes in. Wait,
What?
Anal brutality?
What?
Can anyone still hear me? Am I still being heard?
Yes, we can hear you.
What?
Anal brutality is whatever you said.
Yeah, that's rough.
Love that.
Sliker,
Yes,
hurry up and get on your laptop.
Alright, patience is a virtue. My laptop is 2015. Oh no, it's the Razer laptop.
Wait, what the fuck? I bought that for you. You got that laptop courtesy of the Rajj Show.
Raj, can you buy me something? Raj, you going to TwitchCon EU?
Yes.
He is, but he doesn't want to see your
Will you
fat
buy my
ass.
ticket?
Can I buy your ticket?
Yep.
I thought you made all this money and you didn't need to beg for money, blah, 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 blah.
No, I'm cool with begging for my friends, just not randoms from chat. That makes me uncomfortable.
Yes, Wes, I will buy you a ticket, but guess what? It's gonna be on a what do you call it? A ferry, and you're gonna have to take a ferry.
You can't say ferry. It's 2019. What the fuck is wrong?
Raj?
You're gonna have to take a ferry across the Atlantic Ocean. I'm gonna get you a bus ticket to New York City, and they're gonna take a ferry. And then you're gonna bust into TwitchCon EU. It's gonna be, hey, I'll get you there. I'll get you there, Wes. You have my word, but it will take a very long time.
How long? Because I might do it for the lulz.
I might. All right, hold on. How much do they do ferry rides? Do they do ferry
Wes's ferry
rides across the Atlantic? Hold on.
I don't think so.
Do they do?
Well, you'll have to buy him 2 seats.
Hold on.
Good one.
Okay. Do they? Can you go to the UK by ferry? Can you do it? Can you take a boat
from
He'd sink
Ireland?
it.
Because I don't want a cruise ship. I don't want to send them on a cruise.
You need a cruise ship.
I'm not going to send you on a cruise. That's different.
Freight cargo ships.
Cruise is luxury.
Cruise, dude.
You
No.
can hitch on a cargo ship.
I'm not
across the
sending
Atlantic. can do
you.
that.
I will say. Okay, you have my word. If it unless it's outrageously expensive, like some ridiculous amount of money, I will send you on a ferry across the Atlantic or a car. Can you take a boat?
You can hitch on cargo ships.
He
You
would
can't
sink
always,
it.
but you can hitch on cargo ships sometimes to cross like oceans. So you can do. That.
So does it cost? How much does it cost?
There's some costs. It's just, I mean, it's kind of a bare bones, like as it's available type of deal. But it is something that's available if you want to travel over an ocean by ship. Because otherwise, I think there's only one passenger ship that actually routinely crosses the Atlantic anymore. So.
And it's a.
Why do you know this?
Dude, I mean, you've never thought about the how romantic it would be to
import
sail
slaves.
around the world? I mean, that'd be really cool.
Wait, what was that?
You know what, Bessie? That's an
Seriously?
interesting topic. We should talk about the. Never mind. Actually, never mind.
All right.
What were you gonna say, Rod?
I was gonna bring up a great topic, but I'm gonna withhold it. I'm gonna leave it in my head.
All right.
Sliker, you won the round. Sliker, can you knock already? Or are you on the toilet?
No, one sec.
Oh, okay.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, you said gee.
Flicker, can I just say before you
What did he
vote,
say,
can I
Raj?
say shukra for the previous save. I appreciate it.
I'm sorry, we can't hear you, Lycan.
What?
Lycan is just been at the bottom every time, and he just sucks up to whoever's voting to stay alive, dude.
You do what you can in this hard, cold Twitch world.
Yeah, man.
Jesus Christ.
Raj, can you send me the link?
Yeah.
Trust me, getting eliminated is a freeing feeling. It's not that bad.
Not for me. I can't fucking. I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do. My mic keeps fucking muting to like an inaudible volume. I can't get that fixed, so I can't fucking interrupt. any-
Dumbass.
Weren't you sponsored by Blue at one point?
No, that was Destiny.
Alright.
Oh,
I was
man.
gonna say.
Where the
You've
fuck
been a
is the
terrible
link?
advertisement for.
Got one of them fancy SM7Bs on the
Oh my
way.
God.
Not here.
Raj, there are people in your chat saying that I'm a drug smuggler, that I'm a human trafficker because I know this information. I just want to push back on that.
Hold on just a
That's-
minute,
that's fake
Bastian. Hold on.
news.
What do you expect me to do?
You've thought about it.
Well, hold on.
total fake
Hold on.
news,
You know
right?
what, Bastian? I'm sorry I didn't set up my filter to accommodate for that on my chat bot. That
I don't know,
you
I'm
should
not
have
blaming you. I'm
probably.
not blaming you.
You
No,
should have
I-
probably
not at
given me a little bit of a heads up that you were that you wanted that blocked out.
No. I promise I'm not
And
blaming
honestly,
you. I just wanna
honestly,
push
Bastian,
back on that.
that's something
Yeah.
that's very oddly specific to pluck out from the chat and want to defend on a platform. I don't understand
Look,
why
I
you
gotta-
would
I gotta-
want to bring that up.
I got an important, I got a reputation to keep up.
Yeah,
with. That's not the
clearly.
kind of
So
thing
let's
I
bring it to
need.
the attention of everybody. How about that? What the? Like, whoa, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it right now. That's completely.
The Streisand effect there. Huh?
Come on, yeah, it is a Streisand
Fair
effect. I
enough.
don't understand why you would
Yeah, man.
bring that up to want to defend that. It doesn't make any sense.
Because I want to push back on how false that is. I love all people.
We get it, drug
Of course
smuggler.
it's false. Yeah, of course it is. Okay, Sliker, you must choose between the bottom two people. That is Lycan and Wes, by the way, to eliminate from the show. Sliker, who's it going to be?
Mute yourself in the whereby.
Oh shit. Wait, before I do. Okay, that's it. Okay. So who is it?
It's between Wes, by the way, and Lycan.
Okay, so. Right, let me see.
Please have mercy on him.
Listen, it could always mean hate. Let me give you a quote. If you hate, that can only mean you manipulate. We don't want to manipulate. You want to fucking masturbate. What comes after masturbation? Ejaculation.
Donate.
So, I'm gonna kick. People, what would people accept me? On Wes, but it won't be on Lycan. So Lycan, you are the chosen one. You are
Wait, does anyone know what that meant?
Is he in or is he
Lycan,
out?
you're out. Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, wait.
Lycan, you're out. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Have a good one. Like,
Have a
Bye,
night,
Lycan. Thank you.
Take care, buddy.
All right. Okay, let's see here. The next topic, now we have something really important to talk about. Hold on. This is very interesting. I think you know who, of all people here, is going to love it is Bastiat. I think Bastiat's really going to love
okay.
it.
Are we talking about human trafficking?
Fake news. Fake news, folks.
Yeah, it's very fake news. Why did you get in a suit today? I really do like the suit. Where'd you get it?
I mean, Joseph A. Bank.
Joseph A. Bank? Are you
No,
really
we're
a
not
corporate
too
lawyer?
fancy. What's that?
Why, are you really a corporate lawyer?
Yeah.
Damn, what's the... Oh, man, is this rude to ask? Fucking... How much money do lawyers make in your bracket, would you say?
Well, I mean, I don't want to go into that.
Oh, okay. All right, just wondering. I mean, I don't know.
And
Just
it's
curious.
a good field of work to be in. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not crazy lucrative, but certainly good.
Yeah, all right. Crazy. That means he makes at least $250,000, I'm guessing, right? It's just at least... I'm sorry. Oh, he's shy. He's turning red. All right.
Oil and gas
I'm
attorney
just kidding.
salaries. The
All right.
national average is $117,000.
Okay. Okay. Oh, did Lycan not shout his channel out? Oh, or does he have one? Lycan?
Yeah, he does. Lycan GTV.
Twitch.tv/LycanGTV. Thank you for watching. Lycan, thank you for coming. All right, here we go. We got another. This is a Twitch topic. What? Okay, here we go. This is a topic that everybody should know about, okay? No, that's the wrong topic. Twitch streamer Sleepy Mia has been banned for what Twitch claims to be showing or engaging in acts of attempt or real violence. So let me put this in context, okay? Well, she was confused about the ban, but says she has since come to believe it was from a misinterpreted clip of her dog yelping, okay? This whole clip, I don't know if you saw it, but in the background of this clip, this girl was streaming. In the background, her dog says something, or he says something. My God, I think
Dogs talk.
Yeah, he's doing something in the background that she disapproves of, and she goes to intervene. What you can hear is like a yelping sound in the background, and her being aggressive towards the animal. You can't see anything. All you can hear is just it being very aggressive. Okay. Her dog has a collapsed trachea, allegedly has a collapsed trachea, which evidently means that you should go wrestle it around, I guess. I don't know. So her dog has a collapsed trachea, which she claims it caused the dog to yelp. When Mia went off camera, like I said, the dog is heard yelping. The recording also picks up Sleeping Mia angrily yelling at the dog and says, in quotations, when tanks start zooming, I have to drop. This is what she explained to her chat. When tanks start zooming, I have to drop what I'm doing to beat him up, she said in the comments. She said the comments were jokes and that she was only rolling her dog on the ground to stop him from running.
Good one.
Okay.
She's a fucking idiot for saying that.
Okay, so first of all, do you guys think that the ban was justified? Let's go into that one.
I mean, look, if ever there's an example of somebody trying to leverage being banned for fucking clout and complaining about it, it's this. I mean, I watched the clip, and, you know, first of all, you can hear her. She's very tersely addressing the dog. She's shouting at it. So then, obviously, anybody watching the clip could be inclined to believe from the slapping noises and the coughing or yelping that the dog was doing, which she claims is because it has this crushed trachea. Then when she comes back, rather than have the awareness to say, oh my God, that must have sounded terrible. No, it was this thing. She literally laughing about it says, when my dog acts up, I got to beat the dog up. And what did she get? Like a 7-day ban? Shut the fuck up and take it on the chin. You fucking idiot.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Sliker, stop showing your nipple, okay? Please.
I ain't showing my nipple, but if you want to do it, I'll tempt.
No, don't tempt the chat. Okay, anyway.
Okay.
Does anybody have a
It does
disagree?
seem like there are situations in which,
it.
you know, where it's kind of unclear, but in that kind of situation, it didn't seem too unclear. You're right. It just was an unclear situation that was made worse.
Yeah.
So
It could have been a joke. She could have not been hurting her dog, but for what she said and how it looked, fuck her. Take the ban on the chin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Listen,
I
let me
do
tell
have a
you something.
question. If you get banned from Twitch for copyright reasons, like, is there a certain number of bans at which point you're just off? Because I know the rule with copyrighted
No.
material.
Well,
you
actually,
3
no,
strikes and
because
you're off.
yeah, it's only the copyright that has the 3 strikes.
Okay.
They did announce publicly that there's meant to be this system of progression where you get like a warning, you get like a 3-day, you get a 7-day, you get a 2-week, you get a month, and then you're supposedly kicked off the platform permanently. But they don't enforce that for popular streamers at all.
Yeah.
And
But
they
if
skipped a permanent ban
time
for small
passes,
streamers.
well, I've been banned 7 times, so time passes, and I think it
Okay,
renews.
so evidently, so am I missing any information on this, Richard? Because there's people in the chat saying that I'm missing some information. They said she has another clip where the dog actually makes the noise.
Well, I mean, that's not more information, is it? That's like there's a clip of the dog making a noise that isn't dissimilar, but isn't the same.
Okay.
Because it's coughing, and that could be because of a crushed trachea. That could be because of the dog had a cold or a flu or a brachial
How did the dog
infection.
get a crushed trachea
Let me speak on this behalf, please.
Yeah, go on.
Will you guys allow me to?
Of course, we always do.
Yeah.
Sliker,
So-
who did you pay to give you head right now? I don't understand.
Hey, yo, back off, bitch.
What? It could be a guy. It could be a guy, right?
It was my hands. I was speaking to my hands.
Oh, okay,
Say,
all
back
right.
off, bitch.
Okay.
Saved by lightning. Man, I saved it with the shield. But let me say something. Alright, so this woman, okay, she claimed she even blamed it on alinity. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mathematically incorrect. But am I incorrect,
True.
boys? True. No, but did she put the blame on alinity?
Of course, it's her fault.
Okay. No, but she put. Casey, shut the fuck up. Someone else answer.
What?
She didn't
I have
blame
no idea
Alinity.
what-
She
Of
pointed
course,
out
Alinity
the
was involved, and
hypocrisy.
she's at fault.
No, but like she quotes something. I think it was her that like puts a retweet quote and said, "Oh, look at Alinity, she can do this, but I can't." Right?
Wait, so,
Yeah, so that's pointing out hypocrisy.
So
That's not.
let me say
blaming.
something.
Yeah.
People nowadays see clout. Clout is very important. So what she done was, it's very smart. Okay, strategically smart. She went on Twitter, quoted Alinity, but even though she done something stupid, she retweeted Alinity to get the likes. When she comes back, she'll gain a few of the white knights or simps to prohibit it.
Oh my
prohibit
god,
it.
smart.
Right,
So hold on.
She's getting Alinity's white knights?
Wait, so hear me out.
Is
Hold on.
that
So
what you're saying?
what do you think should be done here, right? Because obviously there's a lack of Well, I mean, some people claim that, I don't know. There's a lot of people that think that there's some inconsistency here. What would make everybody happy? Would it be that this girl didn't get banned? Would that be something that would make people
Hold on,
happy?
can I- Raj,
I
you're-
think what would
you
make
spread-
everyone happy is
Raj,
banning Alinity.
you might have given some misinformation, or at least like I need to provide some additional information here. This is what I heard. You guys can clarify, but from what I understand, the girl has 2 dogs, one with a collapsed trachea, and the bulldog or a pit bull. and she was wrestling with a pit bull, and the collapsed trachea dog was the one that was making the noise that sounded like whelping. She still shouldn't say like I'm gonna beat my dog's ass, I guess. But I say stuff like that about Fish all the time. And I have a massive pit bull, and I mean he doesn't really yelp, but.
I mean, sometimes I think
here's a good
okay.
example of
So hold on. So Hasan, let me get this straight. So she has 2 dogs, one of which has a collapsed trachea. She was wrestling with the one that doesn't have the collapsed trachea, and the one with the collapsed trachea made that noise, and it wasn't even the dog she was wrestling with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes more. Is that? Do we know that to be true?
To me, I cannot look. This is what I'm hearing, but like I said, I don't really know what the exact details are, but this information to me sounds like it kind of changes the dynamic a little bit. And like an example I can give you is this. I horse around my dog all the time. He's a massive pit bull. Pit bulls love to play. It is what it is. He's very well trained regardless outside of that. But I was brushing my dog's teeth on stream, and he has like a little infection in the back of his mouth. And while I was holding him down and brushing his teeth with my like finger toothbrush, he yelped a little bit. Now, if I had previously said somewhere along the line that like, oh, I'm going to beat his ass or whatever, and then I held him down and I was brushing his teeth, I feel like that could have easily constituted for a ban as well.
Yeah, because sometimes animals do things where you like have to, you gotta stop them from maybe getting into something or hurting themselves. And I mean, it's easy to misunderstand that, especially when you follow it up with a bad joke. So I do think people should be a little circumspect in their rush to judgment in these situations.
I mean, but with the context of what she said, it's totally fine to ban her over this, dude. I mean, she said some fucked up shit.
She literally if you guys care about animals so much, then why do you eat meat?
Oh no.
Oh, here we go.
Good one, Destiny.
I think you can
really
uphold standards for like treating animals well on a platform while recognizing that we live in a fallen world.
We
and
eat
can't
animals.
immediately
Why
treat
don't we
all
just
animals
treat all
well
animals like
that?
shit?
I mean, that doesn't mean you have to abuse all animals.
Animals
just
don't
because
have
some animals
feelings.
are
It doesn't matter.
Casey-tron, what you
I learned
think
that
is
from
this?
Destiny.
So why
doesn't have to be a 1 or 0.
Okay, now let me say something. Why do animals eat animals? Why does a cheetah? Wow. Why does a cheetah?
Humans weren't made to eat animals. We were made to be herbivores.
That's so evolutionary.
It's so true. No,
I mean,
it's
I feel
true.
like some
literally nothing.
It's 100% true. Shut the fuck up,
the
fat ass.
I just don't understand this argument that because animals, a lot like factory farmed animals, are the most mistreated and abused creatures in the world, probably. But I mean, the fact that that goes on doesn't mean, well, since that goes on, we have to let all animal abuse go, or else you're being hypocritical. It's like with human beings, right? I mean, the switch to like a full egalitarian society didn't happen overnight. It happened in fits and spurts. It would have been great if it happened overnight, but tragically, that's just not the way life works, right? But you can always make things a little better for one group or one situation at a time. Same with animals as with people.
Okay.
I got banned for one of my bans was for joking that I was going to eat my cat because I was hungry. So I definitely think she should be banned.
Okay. All right.
Jesus Christ.
Would you eat a cat or a dog? Like, I don't think I could do it because I love dogs and cats so much.
I don't think I could either. I don't think I could. I don't think I could eat anything that I saw living.
Why don't you think they taste good? Oh, I could do that. I could literally rip the head off a fucking cow and eat it raw. Like
I'm sure you could.
But
really, Wes?
Don't we typically
I'd like cut its head off and then like wear it as a crown. That's like
yeah, I bet you would.
Wow, you are a psychopath.
Worshipping.
Am I a psychopath?
You're a fucking
I don't view those
Wes.
animals as like wholesome pets that I love a lot, so I'm totally
But
fine
they're
with
so
eating them.
cute. Have you met a cow before?
Cows are not cute. They look like
I think it's absolutely
idiots.
reasonable to
Cows are
recognize the
really, really
hypocrisy in this situation where
Cows
like we
look
treat
so
some
fucking
animals better than
stupid.
others, but that doesn't mean that therefore that's a justification. Well, you should be free to abuse all animals. And yeah, there's hypocrisy going on.
No, I'm not saying I'd abuse the cow. I'd kill it with like like they say.
You'd kill it humanely by ripping its head off in front of its other fellow cows.
You don't show the sheep the knife because the fear spoils the meat. You don't want to torture these animals. You just want to kill them because they taste so fucking good.
Well, I guess I just want to say I feel like our standards for animals right now are definitely inconsistent, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong to aspire to something good,
All right. Okay. It's time to take another vote. We're voting for who you want to keep, not kick. Keep, not kick here. Here we go. Good Lord, Wes. Jesus Christ.
You're fucking awesome.
You are a psychopath!
I've never hurt an animal in my life, but if it's an animal that I'm cool with eating, like a deer, for example, if
Yeah,
I'm
just
deer
because you haven't had
hunting-
the opportunity to.
No, imagine deer hunters, right? They shoot an animal, and if it's not dead, you stab it in the fucking heart with a knife to end it quickly. I would
Jesus
totally
Christ.
fucking do that.
Oh my
There's
God!
nothing
Vote
wrong
for you
with
want
that.
to
I'm
keep,
gonna
not
eat
kick.
it, goddammit.
I mean, we're cringing at what he's saying, but it's like
mostly herbivores.
one could make the argument that it's more ethical the way to like hunt a deer and then immediately try to end its suffering when the deer has lived
100%.
outside and outdoors for his entire life versus like fucking factory farming is pretty terrible.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Absolutely.
I think we all agree on that.
Yeah, I think the way that animals are mass produced, like, I hate that. I
the
wish I
way
was
that-
rich
yeah.
enough to eat all that, like, free range farm shit, but I'm just poor, right?
Like Wes might be talking about this on very graphic terms, but ultimately his takes are correct.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good sometimes to talk about this stuff in graphic terms to make people like encounter the reality of what they eat. And I mean, I'm not perfect with this either. I mean, I eat meat still, you know, but it's good to at least think
Me
about
too.
it. Maybe you dial back how much you consume, right? Like Hassan, do you sometimes like think, well, you know, hey, you know, maybe I don't need this like right
Bastian.
now. Maybe I can. You know.
How about we talk about your tax returns in graphic terms, huh? See where
Ah,
that
no,
money's going.
hold on a minute. We don't need to get any crazy in here, buddy.
All right. See where that's going.
Is really no one's interested whether like herbivores might taste better than carnivores?
Vote,
No one
chat.
thinks it's
Vote for you want to
interesting?
keep, not kick. Vote!
Sliker, Sliker, man, I was digging the tracksuit, man. You won me over to it. Where'd it go?
Don't worry, little ass Sliker. I'm not voting.
Oh, all right.
Vote, vote, vote.
I would have kicked you out.
Sliker, you look like that guy that you're browsing through on Omegle and he just whips out his dick all of a sudden.
Yo, listen. Stop trying to give me ideas, okay? For fuck's sake, I will never do that.
Damn.
That made no sense.
Is
Why are
this the
people
double
question
elim
marking? What
barrage?
the hell?
Are we doing a double elim this show?
Yeah, we will. I just
it
can't.
this
I
one?
can't. I can't do it. No, I can't do it right now because it's an odd number of people. So, all right. Votes are in. Sliker, you won. Congratulations.
Holy
Yay!
shit.
You won.
How? Hey,
I know.
listen.
We
How
did it.
can I say this? Look at this.
Crazy.
Right? Look at this.
I just want to let you know something, Wes. Well, I'm going to show you this image. I'm going to DM it to you, and then I'm going to put it on the screen. Why is it okay to eat one and not the other? Never mind. I'm not going to show that on the image. Never mind. Why?
The cat just doesn't look tasty to me.
Okay. All right.
The cow, I'd eat the fuck out of him.
Okay. That's a cute fucking cow, though. How dare you? I mean, I eat beef,
I mean,
too.
he's cute and all, but God, he tastes so fucking good that it's worth ripping its head off.
Good
That
Lord
cat
have
has so
mercy.
little meat, and you
Well,
have to kill so
I'm not
many of them,
advocating for
and
the
it
eating
probably
of
tastes
cats,
like
by the
shit,
way,
too.
but all right. Sliker, you must decide between the bottom two.
Wait,
on
I have to decide?
Wait, oh, I'm sorry. Hassan must decide. Hassan must decide between the bottom two. The bottom two in the poll, which is, let's see, Richardlewis and Caseytron.
Oh my god.
It's a tie. I don't know how Richard found his way down
I
there.
vote myself.
Can I volunteer as tribute
To leave?
for
Oh, this could be the double elim.
I wanted to leave.
No, but let
For
Casey
Casey.
leave and whoever gets picked. Or Zintani leave and whoever gets picked. There's the double elim. Boom.
No, I'll only do it for Casey.
Wait, so you want to leave
I-
instead of you want to leave if he's gonna kick Casey, then you're gonna leave?
Yeah.
Well, I need to leave soon.
Okay, I kick Casey.
Oh shit. What?
So,
Why?
all right.
For
Have we
both
ever
leave.
had a sacrifice before? Does that?
Just let them both.
I
You
can't
make
let
the rules on
Kick
the
off
spot.
both
homie.
the
I
girls.
do make
Yes.
the rules on the
A whole
spot.
bunch of cock.
Let's have a boys
Hold
club.
on, Casey Zintani. I just made a new rule on the Rajj Royale podcast.
No
where
girls.
You can take a sacrifice. Zintani, did you want to step in and eliminate yourself for Caseytron?
Yeah.
Okay.
For Casey.
Zintani, thank you. That's the first
I've been
time we've
a
ever
bit
had
around.
that.
I'll get that
never
next
This
round
rule,
anyway.
this rule only exists in this moment, and I believe it's going to expire here in a second. Zintani, go ahead and shout out your channel.
I'm gonna shout out my Chad X who sucks. You suck. And
Shout out.
I
How about your
never-
own channel? Your own channel.
No,
Shout out your own
that's-
channel.
Yeah, but that's what I'm getting to.
Okay.
He sucks at freaking. I've never been fricked right. So if you would like to frick me,
Oh no.
you.
Okay, shout out your channel. Your channel. Your channel. I muted.
Zintani.
Thank you.
underscore.
There you go, Zintani. There you go.
Zintani
You got the channel.
Everyone who wants a frick.
Ah, okay.
Bye.
Come on.
Thank you.
What the fuck? No. Get out of here.
What the
All
fuck
right.
is this shit? Why is voice assistant on?
Okay.
Oh.
Thank you. Thank you, Zintani.
Well, she enters the Insufferable Hall of Fame. Fuck me. Glad
All
she's
right.
fucking gone. Jesus Christ, she was up there with Rem and Alabrel. I was doing my fucking swing.
Okay. Well, she's gone now. Okay.
Thank fuck.
Well, Casey, you survived. Congratulations. I've never actually seen that happen before. You've survived.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, you're still here. That rule is now dissolved. Okay.
Wow.
Let's see here. Here we go. So, let's do this. Janoris Jenkins he was cut from the Giants, the New York Giants, for saying retard. The New York Giants waived cornerback Janoris Jenkins on Friday, 2 days after he made an inappropriate remark to a fan on Twitter. On Wednesday, Jenkins called a critical fan an R-word when taking exception to questioning about why the stats Jenkins was using to showcase his effectiveness weren't contributing to victories. He apologizes and says, "I regret it, but at the end of the day, it's my slang." So if you take it out,
it sounds like the person he was. It sounds like the person who called him out was right, because if you were like a,
hold on, let me finish the topic, Bastiat. All right, so if you take it how you're going to take it, it's on you. I don't mean to offend anybody. My dad always told me speak freely and own up to what you say. So I always speak freely as a man, and I speak how I want to speak. Do you agree with him getting cut for saying the R word?
You know what?
It sounds like he
just
got
hope
cut
goes...
because he wasn't a very good player, if that's why he got cut at the end of the day.
Well, then,
True.
I just hope he goes to the Vikings, because that shithole team needs some help.
Well, who's your team, Wes? You even have a team? Who the
Dallas
fuck's your
Cowboys,
team?
Baby.
You're the Cowboys?
Hell, motherfucking yeah,
dude,
baby.
hold on. Let me remind you.
Yeah.
Let me refresh.
Wait,
let me refresh your memory. Let me take you back to November when Kirk Cousins came in on Sunday Night Football and beat that ass. Huh?
Who is who?
Oh,
Who?
Oh,
Who?
Kirk.
Vikings
Oh,
are
who?
washed up,
Who?
dude.
You
It's a
might.
shit
You
franchise.
might want to forget, because it was an extremely painful experience how Dak Prescott decided to go.
Hey, how many
for it.
Super Bowl
Hold on.
rings your
Let me.
team
Hold on.
got,
I didn't know
bitch?
we were talking about last year. Let me tell you something. Let
How
me
many
talk about
fucking rings,
how
baby?
the fact that Dak Prescott threw a flat pass to Ezekiel Elliott on 4th and 2, and Eric Kendricks came up with the stop.
Who is that?
It's my
This
life.
is my
How many rings,
All right.
dog?
Sorry,
You know how everyone, reacts to when I talk about politics and I get really passionate. Like that's how I feel when people
You've
talk about
won
sports.
one Super Bowl.
Fuck the Cowboys! I'm just-
You
except-
won one.
I'm
We
just-
won 5, bitch. We got a whole handful
No,
of rings. You got a thumb ring,
we have
baby.
never won a Super Bowl. Actually, that's
Oh, really? I thought y'all won one.
No, we've never won one. So, do you agree with him getting cut?
Oh, you haven't? Holy
I
shit.
think football players should be allowed to say the R word because so many of them end up with brain damage.
Oh
right?
no, Casey, don't go.
Should they?
Casey, don't make that. Oh god. All
Wait,
right.
what did
Well, I mean, that
Casey
is
say?
a big problem in professional football, right?
I know it
that they
is, but
only just
do you
started
think
to
he?
deal with.
Let's focus on the topic at hand. Do you think he should have been cut for using the R word?
I think he should be cut for whatever reason the team wants to cut him out his contract
Yeah.
from. I mean, that's what he's there for. He's
their
not there to
enterprise,
be
man.
offensive. He's not there to be a liability. And I feel like it sounded like you said, Raj, that this particular fan had basically laid out all of this guy's like low performance, right? I mean, it
think
sounds
so.
like, yeah. I mean, it sounds like in a situation like this, high stakes as professional football, where there's big money involved, even with like I guess backbench players. That's got to be why he got cut, because the guy was right. He's just not a good player, and this was a good excuse to get out. You know. Like maybe the contract had some kind of escape clause for like embarrassing behavior or things like that. You know?
Oh, well, they definitely do in the NFL. I mean, obviously you can be cut for anything, right? But the reality here is I don't think this is a player that this applies to. I think he's definitely an asset to the Giants. I mean, the Giants fucking suck ass anyway. It's not like they can be cutting decent players. He started every game this fucking season. I don't really see the angle in terms of cutting an established guy. He might not have had the best of seasons, but the fan was replying to the player linking his stats because people were criticizing him, saying he had a bad game, and he said, "Well, look, these are the stats. Stats don't lie." And then this guy said and gave anecdotal evidence, and that's when he dropped the R word on him. You know, and the fact that he's been cut for this, it's like I can't figure the NFL out, man. Like you got Ray Rice uppercutting women on camera, and he was still fucking allowed to play for a little bit after that. And then you got a fucking guy saying the R word on Twitter, which, by the way, it's not even against Twitter, TOS.
No, I agree, but I mean, I'm just saying if that's why they want to cut him. I mean, presumably they made a decision that they thought. Presumably they made a decision that they thought would benefit them, right? I mean, they're not doing this.
Ray Rice is an incredible player. You're gonna protect that guy because you want him on your fucking team. This Humegalo, mediocre dog shit. So they just use this as an excuse to get rid of him. That's all it comes down to.
You know, presumably speaking, I think obviously, you know, Remrise it's not good what you just done. Like obviously, if he's gonna stay as a back forward player, him going on fucking Twitter and saying that shit, man, shut your mouth. You get me? The people that kicked him out are retards. Okay? Why the fuck do they care?
Do you think? Hold on, man. All right.
Wait, I might get kicked off Twitch.
I think eventually Twitch is gonna enforce the R word just like the rest of. I think that's what's gonna happen.
I agree.
I think Twitch is gonna move that direction. I think they're gonna stop allowing people to use it. I think society's moving that way. I think that's just what's gonna happen.
They're being too sensitive, dude. They're being too sensitive. Like, if they
we're taking over. The SJWs are winning. Fuck off.
Listen, that's always the argument. They're like, but it's the reality, okay? It is people being too sensitive, but that's how they clean language, like clean up language. This is how it's worked with the N-word. This is how it's worked with every other fucking medical terminology that has become a slur or a pejorative throughout time. It is what it is.
Okay.
The R word
SJWs win.
The R word is currently a point of contention. That's the only reason why, like, this is always like a matter of debate. If he was a white NFL player and like called a black fan the N word, it would not even be a debate, right?
Yeah, because people view that way worse than the word retard.
Exactly, that's my point. But that wasn't exactly the case a long time ago, maybe in like the 60s even.
Vote for you on a keep not kick.
It's
keep
growing
not
to be a
kick.
much worse word.
It sounds like
I
was just
but it's so
asking this fella.
ingrained, and it sucks dick.
I'm just asking this
Same
fella
with, like,
Tabor
homophobia,
Snapping,
too.
who said that he's been a headache PR-wise for the Giants. So I guess that sounds kind of like what went down.
Hassan, I'll make a take. Is that I'm trying to work on my ableism because I know it hurts people, but I also have no problem with admitting that I don't think the words like retard or autist are as hurtful as the F word or the N word, based on the experience that those people have been through.
I 100% agree with you on that.
Oh, okay.
Wait, there's no contention there.
Keep
That's what I'm saying. It sucks more that this is being phased out now because I don't hold it to the same degree. Like I haven't used like the F or the N word source since I was a kid, barring like random gamer moment rage, right? But the retard is like everyone use that for everything. You're being like, God, you're being fucking retarded. Like everyone says that, and that's so commonly used. And it doesn't, and it's also, like I said, it didn't have the same effect as the F or the N word does.
Do you think to a certain degree maybe it's like been phased out though? Because didn't they used to refer to, people with mental handicaps as like like idiot, right?
Okay, hold on. Yeah. The poll results are in. The bottom two are automatically getting kicked because we got to speed things up here because of the other rounds. The bottom two are Casey Tron. Wait, I'm sorry.
What?
Yes. Casey Tron and Wes, by the way, have been eliminated from the show. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Both of you have been eliminated from the show. Wes, go ahead and shout out your channel.
It's happened 2 months in a row now, dude. I always just get auto-eliminated.
I'm sorry. Do you want me to do this at the beginning of the show?
Yeah. Well, I don't care that much. It's always there. I want to get someone.
You've never won the Royale. One of these weeks, the chat needs to get behind you, and maybe you'll win.
He has.
No, you haven't. He never has. He's gotten to the final two, and that's it.
Yeah, me and Cutie Cinderella, but it's fine. I'm not like.
I haven't won.
Yeah.
There's a reason. Yeah.
No,
thank you as always.
Not.
What? Go ahead.
There's not a reason.
Okay.
Yes,
thank you. Thank you, Wes.
No.
Go ahead and shout out your channel. We're
I
losing
refuse to
precious
believe
time.
that.
Wes
I believe in
PDW on
myself.
Twitch, Wes PDW1 on Twitter. Good show tonight coming after Rajj Royale. Thanks, guys. Much
Thank
love.
you.
Take care,
Bye-bye.
Wes, man.
Casey,
Guys.
your turn.
I'll win next week. Twitch.tv/CaseyTron. Goodbye, folks.
Bye-bye. Thank you
care,
very much,
Casey.
Casey. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. All right, gentlemen, congratulations. We have another demo elimination coming up here in a few minutes. Is there anything that you want to talk about that hasn't been spoken of? I know Bastiat had something interesting that he wanted to bring up, but I don't know, Bastiat.
No, I'm not sure. You actually said you had one that you thought I'd really be into. I presume you didn't mean the football one.
No, it had to do with something that was irrelevant to what we were talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, let's see here.
Are we gonna talk about labor and Boris Johnson and shit? Or is that
I mean, wait. Is Richard? I have a question. You're from the UK, right?
Yes, correct.
Are you Labor or conservative? What's your stance?
Absolutely Labor all my life.
You're Labor all your life? Okay. So
are you a playwright though, or are you like? I'm assuming you didn't like Corbyn.
It was tough. Unfortunately, I did a big tweet about it. I don't know if you've seen it. Oh, I've got you blocked, haven't I? So you wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah. I can't see it.
Yeah, well, I'll link you to it after the show if you're interested. But basically, the Corbyn strategy after 2017, when Brexit wasn't as big of an issue because people still thought it was going to get done, he like really fucked up his strategy big time. I mean, the anti-Semitism, when he didn't shut that down, that was bad enough. He went on our biggest interview with Andrew Neil and refused to apologize for it multiple times in a 10-minute segment. He was asked about 5 or 6 times, will you apologize for anti-Semitism within the party? And he refused to. And then he went on a morning breakfast show, got badgered again, and then apologized for it in a throwaway line there. And that was the only time he apologized for anti-Semitism in the party, which is disastrous when people already think you're in league with Hamas and all this other stuff that was in the media. Then second, the Brexit issue. People in the north that want to vote Labour and want to vote for socialist policies, right? Unfortunately, they also overwhelmingly voted for Brexit. So when Labour said, we're actually going to have a referendum, that's where you lose all of the Labour heartlands, where I used to live, because people don't want another referendum. We want the democracy that was enacted to be put, to be enabled by Parliament to actually come to fruition. And Jeremy Corbyn was saying we'll have another referendum, and there's a realistic chance that we might get to Remain, guys.
Hold on. Dude, I got another topic that I think is a lot better than this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I agree. I didn't want to.
Hold on. Yeah, sorry to go into it. But Barack. So I have a question about Barack and Michelle being chill with Bush. Okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So earlier this week, Michelle Obama, maybe it was this week or last week, she said regarding George Bush, our values are the same. We disagree on policy, but we don't disagree on humanity. We don't disagree about love and compassion. I think that's true for all of us. We just get lost in our fear of what's different, okay? Should Bush still be publicly condemned for his actions during presidency? I don't like that question.
Yeah,
hold on.
He's a fucking war
criminal. Yes, I know. Okay, hold on.
Obama should be publicly condemned too.
Okay,
dude, what do you mean George Bush was a war criminal? Do you not think?
Do you think it's wrong? Do you think it's wrong do you think it's wrong for Michelle Obama to still associate and hang out with George W. Bush? Or anybody for that.
This claim that he's a war criminal.
Hold on, let Hassan go. Let Hassan go. Let Hassan go, basket, and then I'll let you get your stupid student ass in here.
All right, real easy question, okay? Go for it. Real easy question. To all of the fucking people that look, real easy question, okay? Elites always back one another. They always defend one another because they want to protect their own legacies that are also tarnished by bloodshed, okay? They don't want anyone to ever fucking hold them accountable, and that's precisely why they do this. They play this dance. Do you think Michelle Obama would ever say the same things like about a fucking person who puts up a drywall, or a plumber that has fucking tortured people, or a plumber that has fucking caused so much death and destruction? Of course not. Also, a plumber wouldn't be able to do that because he's not a leader of a fucking nation. But just remember, the only reason why they are caping for George W. Bush is because he is the fucking president, or the ex-president.
Now, thank you, Hassan. Now, Bastian, it's your turn.
These are the same people who fucking
Hassan, it's Bastian's turn!
Okay, these are the people who fucking lose their shit when a random fucking store clerk has like...
Look, again, no, go on. I mean, finish the point.
It's Bastian's turn now. Go ahead.
Look, I mean, yeah, obviously, if you view the Bush as a war criminal, yeah, I mean, then yeah, I guess I see where Hassan's coming from. But I mean, at the end of the day, the Iraq War was a lot of things, but I don't know how particularly unique it was in American history as some kind of war crime. I mean, I guess by that standard, every president that we've had since Roosevelt was a war criminal, right?
Wrong.
I mean, because
it was actually ruled by the UN Security Council to be a crime of war, and that was according to the Commission of Justice.
The UN Security Council that refused to enforce its own resolutions. That again, you can say the Iraq War may have been bad policy for the United States to engage in, but it was ultimately trying to enforce UN resolutions, was it not? Weapons of mass destruction were not found in the quantities they expected, but they were ultimately found, was it not? So I mean, and I'm happy to pull the report here.
You really think it wasn't. Ex-presidents are war criminals too? What are you crazy?
Wait, what was this? What are you saying?
Do you really think that I don't consider other presidents.
Well, I mean, you may. I mean,
engaged
you
in,
may.
like,
I think that's a pretty
numerous
extreme position.
violations. We write the rules and then we don't follow them. That's how it works. Okay, we write the rules. We write the Geneva Convention. If we were held to the Nuremberg trial standards, okay, to the in this day and age, there would be fucking potential executions of members in the CIA. Instead, what happened? Barack Obama refused to prosecute the previous administration for its flagrant war crimes. We knew that torture didn't fucking work, and yet we still continue to do it. Okay, there was no accountability in the government. The CIA literally lied to the Bushes. The CIA lied to all the previous administrations. Even after it was revealed, there was no accountability ever. And one of the people that fucking literally hid the tapes, that one of the people that covered up the torture in the CIA is Gina fucking Haspel, and now she is in charge of the fucking CIA. That is
look. There absolutely should be more accountability.
Literally covered.
There absolutely should be more accountability in that situation.
The CIA torture program is now the fucking head of the CIA.
All I'm saying is,
dude, hold on, just a second. I gotta point out. Hold on.
There absolutely should be more accountability in entities like that. Yeah, and the torture that went on during the Bush years was an absolute crime, particularly in the Abu Ghraib and the extraordinary rendition. And yet, I mean, to say that this person's record as the head of the CIA is this and this alone, I mean, look, the CIA engages in some nasty business. I mean, that's a fact of life. You know?
Why do we even have these laws if we're not going to fucking follow them? Why do we even have the fucking Geneva Convention if we're not going to follow it, Basti? What are you talking about?
When you say we're not following these international laws, I mean, what do you mean by that? The UN or the US went into Iraq to enforce a UN resolution that the UN apparently didn't want to enforce. All right? Disarmament of Iraq. Iraq was not complying with the inspection standards at the time. And again, they may have had their reasons for that, but I mean, that's a fact. They were violating UN resolutions.
What are you talking about? There was a UN report that showed that there was inconclusive evidence to say that there was weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. What the fuck are you talking about? Why are you lying right now?
I'm not lying. There was a US report that showed that there were weapons of mass destruction.
Oh, sorry. You're right. There's a US report.
Not the same number.
Okay. Then why did you previously lie about the UN position?
The United States issues a report. It's intrinsically false. The United States has had several changes, or had 2 changes in government.
Oh, so the liars who committed war crimes are absolved because they originally thought differently, that there were war, even though the same administration had people that spoke out against the lies too. The same administration, the people like what's his fucking name? Colin Powell literally said that it was the worst lie he's ever told in his entire life when he sat in front of the fucking United Nations and said that there are weapons of mass destruction. Here is the evidence that we have. He lied. He was pushed to do that. And he did it exclusively so they could go to fucking war with Iraq, and they destroyed that entire region. They are directly responsible for ISIS. They are just directly responsible for
directly responsible for ISIS. Here's who's directly responsible for ISIS. 1, Saddam Hussein for creating a militant, brutal dictatorship that tortured people. For 1, for 2, the United States for torturing al-Baghdadi in captivity. Again, a crime that was wrong. That helped motivate him to bring ISIS about. That doesn't mean that happened just because of the Iraq War. And then 3, President Obama for pulling out prematurely of Iraq and leaving a security vacuum there that let ISIS flourish.
Yeah, they should just stay there forever like Afghanistan, right? Because it's going really well there with all the fucking
let me tell you this. It's real easy to say. Hey, it's real easy to say, leave Afghanistan, all right? But this country that just has a semblance of democracy for the first time in its history in the last 20 years, there are a lot of women in that country now who are facing the very real risk when the U.S. leaves of having the Taliban cut their noses and heads off people and getting education. So to say that the United States has done nothing good in these countries?
We have a constitution that we're not following. Should Mexico come and invade us and destroy our fucking entire infrastructure for decades?
What kind of comparison is that to compare the United States
just come in and fucking drone strike Washington D.C., bitch? No. So shut the fuck up. It doesn't work that way.
Real Nazis.
We're clearly lying about all the shit that we're doing.
For the sake of what? Defending the Taliban? I mean, Jesus Christ, we're talking about the question of whether this guy's a war criminal or whether there was some case for war. And to say it was as cut and dry as you're saying it is right now is ridiculous.
George W. Bush is a war criminal. What the fuck are you talking about? You're just trying to say that it's okay because we lied about it. That's literally your argument, and it's
I'm definitely not saying it's okay that we lied about it. Some weapons of mass destruction were found, not as many as were initially discussed, but some were found.
By the way, Bastiat, and I'm sure you're aware of this, but that same report also had to concede that all of that anthrax bullshit was it was a lie because the anthrax factory at Al Haykum got fucking wrecked like in bombings like many years prior to that, and yet we had this fundamental like anthrax panic in the US when we said, oh, we've analyzed it in a lab and it's definitely coming from Iraq, and they had no anthrax capability. So
well, when you say this is an important question, I think though. You said this was a lie. Was this a lie or was this an honest mistake of intelligence? I mean, it's very difficult to get accurate intelligence from a country that's hostile to you.
Yes, it was a lie. It was not an honest mistake. And intelligence, homie, it was a lie. It was literally a lie so that we could go into Iraq.
Dick Cheney awarded himself, which were unprecedented for somebody in his position at the time.
Yeah, no, that was absolute corruption.
He manufactured intelligence. He cherry picked it, and he was told with the evidence that we supposedly used to go to war with Iraq that actually this isn't solid. Understand that it's predicated on supposedly one member of Al Qaeda having met with another Iraqi terrorist. That was it. That one meeting was then extrapolated to mean that actually Iraq was somehow involved in 9/11. Let's go for it. Let's go and do it. And it was.
They were absolutely stretching on that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
but,
it was as thin as fuck. So not only were there no weapons of mass destruction, not only was the invasion predicated on a meeting that never took place, they then between 91 and 1998 looked to try and synthesize a reason why the war in Iraq was okay. And the best they could come up with was, we did find some weapons which wouldn't meet the definition of weapons of mass destruction, but we did find some weapons in Iraq. Well, of course you would. You'd find weapons in any sovereign
They
state.
found chemical munitions in Iraq. I mean, what is that but a weapon of mass destruction?
By the way, that's the other part of this equation.
But let me tell you why this is so in a way frustrating to me. In a way, because I feel like this argument we make. Let's drop the weapons of mass destruction for just an example here. All right, suppose there's a regime that is torturing its people, that is abusing them, that is, for example, gassed them, like Iraq did. Right? Is there not some case for the United States invading to topple this dictatorship and try and establish something new, even if we can't, of course, do that everywhere because resources are limited? Isn't there some case for nevertheless trying to give people a chance at freedom?
This is the great problem of the existential. Do we need a world police, or should we operate on some Star Trek Prime Directive bullshit where we don't have foreign interventionist policy? But the bottom line is, okay, it's an irrelevant question when it comes to the war in Iraq and the subsequent invasion of Afghanistan, because those were not predicated on to those ends.
Well, let's wrap this.
Retroactively spun it that the
Richard.
toppling of Saddam Hussein was good. Because that was the only way to sell the war to the people in any good conscience.
I mean, as much as I'll agree that maybe there probably was a cynical attempt to sell the war, don't you think?
Hold on one second, Bastian. Just pause. I'll let you get back to it. Pause. Just pause. Wrap it up, guys. Let's get to our final points here. We need to vote. Go ahead.
Yeah, we should bomb Flint, Michigan,
Bastian needs to
and the leadership there because
Bastian needs to finish his thoughts.
It's not something you can do everywhere. Obviously, you can't do it everywhere. We can't, for example, there's no military solution with North Korea.
To everyone else. It seems a little suspicious that this is the point of view that you have.
Again, if you're going to compare the United States to Iraq under Saddam Hussein, I think that you're basically exemplifying why it is you're reveling that socialist communist memery. All right, to say that those are the same levels of violence and oppression is insane. Okay, it's complete. It shows how warped your moral compass must be to compare life in the United States to life in Iraq.
You're right. You're right. Because we have more McDonald's that our lives are worth more than the millions of people that died in Iraq. Good. 6,000 American people died as a consequence of this illegal war. But I guess that doesn't matter. $6 trillion were lost. $6 trillion were just lit on fire. But I guess that's okay because we were trying to restore democracy to Iraq. Look at what happened there. We fucking absolutely failed. We should probably learn from our mistakes.
You can make a case.
There are cucks like you who will literally defend the American foreign policy no matter what.
That's what you got to resort to when I'm just saying that sometimes maybe there's a case for the United States trying to let people live in freedom, peace, and dignity in a country that doesn't murder them.
I'm going to resort to that because you told me that my moral compass is twisted.
It is to be comparing the United States to Iraq in terms of how the people are treated in
every single person agrees is bad.
I mean, you know, it's easy to say that in Iraq because Iraq happened, and we saw all the bloody, terrible things that can happen in a country when you go in and invade the country. But, you know, it's real easy to say, well, why didn't we intervene in Rwanda? Why didn't we try to stop a genocide in Rwanda, just as an example, right?
You're right. Let's not learn from our mistakes. You're right.
Or why didn't we try and stop Yugoslavia earlier? You know, I mean, these are
right. Let's not learn from our mistakes, Bastian. You're right. Let's just keep doing death and destruction all around the world that take a fucking human
toll. So would you have intervened in the
Rwandan
Rwandan genocide, or would you have said it's not our business? Would you have intervened in the Rwandan genocide, or would you have said it's not our business? We don't want to make things worse.
You realize that there are different instances where it's acceptable to engage. This is not one of them, and we knew that this was not one of them, and we still did it, and we still fucking killed so many people.
You're
and
saying it's not
that
one of them.
entire region.
No. You're
Like,
saying it's not one of them. You're saying that this situation, the suffering of the Iraqi people, doesn't rise to the standard of trying to free them. But I guess we're wrong because we did.
The United States has interfered in Nazi Germany, and that's it. We've been using that fucking W for a century at this point, almost, to justify all of the senseless bloodshed that we've caused all around the world, including Vietnam and many other places, especially in the Middle East. This destabilization has to stop. I want fucking world peace, okay?
So let the genocide happen. Do what you want to your people as long as you do it in your own borders, is what you're saying right now.
Oh, so it's better that we cause even more death and destruction?
It's better that we try and stop it.
What we did is worse than what Saddam Hussein did, you fucking moron. Literally,
we try and
pound for
stop
pound,
dictators.
the amount of people that we killed is worse than what fucking Saddam did. That, like, it's an idiotic comparison to even make. Sliker's family's literally from Iraq. He's sitting there. We're having this conversation.
True.
If you, oh my God, I'm losing my mind. This is so, it's like arguing with a fucking rock,
Are we wrapping
dude.
things up? All right, that's good. It was really
These people like Basitayo El Kharazmal, they care about themselves. They care about America too much. Selfish country, okay? They care about saying, we defend, we love our people. They don't love you. Does the government love you? Does Trump love you, Basitayo? No, you idiot. This guy's sending troops to defend his country. No, he's not defending anyone, bro. This guy's causing more wars. Not him, but Bush was. You don't know shit.
Look, I mean, again, I think there are plenty of reasons you can say that Iraq, despite what I'm saying about maybe, you know, all this fanfare about humanitarian reasons trying to preserve or extend freedom, I think you can say, hey, wasn't worth it. Not the right time to go in. You can make that argument. Just like you make that argument about, say, China. Look, China is a more oppressive country than Iraq.
Stop defending it when we have the benefit of hindsight, Bastiat.
But where you can do something about it, you should.
Okay, well, you're still defending in an instance where you self-admitted that it was wrong. So why are you doing that?
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying there were elements of it that certainly were wrong.
If I could put something here, like,
I like that you're like, Saddam was being bad to his own citizens, and then we killed way worse.
Being bad, by the way, way to wash over the fact that he literally gassed them with the chemical weapons that we then, I guess, didn't find after the fact.
We bombed their schools. People fucking died. We committed war crimes. We tortured people. What the fuck are you talking about?
And we put an end to a brutal dictatorship.
You're so stupid, dude.
Yeah,
how are you?
Well, that's what you got.
Pound for pound, they did way worse than Saddam did.
It caused war, dude. 9/11 happened.
Sliker, your mic cut out.
Yeah,
Sliker, your mic's cutting out.
Fucking oil lawyer caping for the fucking oil war, of course.
No, listen.
Look, that's an example of how the war did go so badly. We didn't even get any oil wealth out of it. It was a drag. It was a complete loss. We didn't even get that out of it. The only people who benefited monetarily were Dick Cheney's companies.
Sometimes can be the right course of action, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, it cannot be one other nation, especially a nation that has an oil addiction, an opium addiction, that is imperialist in its outlook. Surely the best way to do intervention is to overthrow dictators, is to have like a coalition, a council of nations, so there is some form of oversight that there isn't one nation completely enforcing their interests in a region.
You're right that would absolutely be
That's in principle what NATO and the UN is. Of course, it never actually pans out that way because we all know it's corrupt as fuck.
I'm not going to say NATO is corrupt as fuck. I think it's an institution that needs some reform. But I guess as much as I want what you want there,
that's
right?
why.
I absolutely want what you're saying there, multilateral intervention, right? Something beyond the coalition of the willing that we got, right? But at the same time, the UN China and Russia have their veto. I don't know how realistic that is in any kind of difficult circumstance.
This is the fundamental problem. I mean, listen, I'm not saying it's ideal. Fucking hell, head of the UN Human Rights Council was Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's farcical. This is what I'm talking about. But in principle, I would agree with you. I think if there was one nation that was under the yoke of a brutal dictator, provided that there was, if you'd gone down economic sanctions first, and then the only way to make them revise their behavior and stop doing what they're doing was to do an actual removal, you know, yes, I wouldn't necessarily be against that. But
let me ask you this, though.
That isn't what happened in Iraq at all. Not even
well, I mean, I mean, I'm not questioning there were some serious problems and tragedies with how things went down in Iraq, but there's one thing that you mentioned that I think is worth asking about. You said if you've tried sanctions first, and one thing I've heard about Iraq, and I know the numbers with this fluctuate a lot, but I've heard that 500,000 people were killed by the sanctions in Iraq, which by the measures of the war dead that I've seen is at least equal.
We denied them fluoride. They couldn't have fluorination in their water. Yeah,
right.
There was a lot
so what I'm
it,
saying
it
is,
affected the most vulnerable people in Iraqi society.
Yeah, are sanctions? I mean,
Saddam.
should sanctions be the first resort if they don't have to be? I mean, don't those directly hurt the civilian population? Whereas at least with war, you can try not to hurt the civilian population, even if you're never going to succeed completely. Hey, look, you can laugh at that, but 500,000 civilians died thanks to those sanctions, and by any count of the war dead, that's not how many died in the war.
Wait,
so
what?
You can laugh at that if you want.
Type of sanctions
you can laugh at that if you want.
You'll notice that by denying...
You can modify your sanctions, one, and secondly, boots on the ground warfare is never better than sanctions. What are you, insane, dude?
How do you know that? How do you know that?
We
when those
saw
sanctions
what
killed
happened.
500,000 people.
Because
and
one is denying them fluoride, the other is like bombing their fucking schools.
Deaths are deaths, and deaths were happening due to the sanctions.
Either way, but it's definitely worse to fucking destroy their infrastructure on top of that. That is such a dumb argument.
No, that argument depends entirely on how much the damage the sanctions are causing. I mean, it's easy to say, yeah, war is bad, which it obviously is. But if you've got sanctions that are killing
on the ground, military warfare has the
sometimes that can be real bad too.
Has the capacity to be more peaceful than straight up than sanctions that target people in positions of power. Okay, you just said that. That is an
targeted sanctions maybe could be better, but again, that's an entirely context-sensitive situation. The sanctions imposed on Iraq were incredibly destructive. Some say more destructive in terms of the total human lives.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap up the conversation. Last closing argument. Everybody done? Okay, good. Let's take a vote. We're voting for who you want to keep, not kick. This will determine who is in the finals, because the finals, we're kicking 2 people this round. Bottom 2 go off the show.
It'll be me and Bastiat, so I'll say my farewells.
Well, we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Well, we don't know that.
We don't know yet, Richard. People, maybe they'll want a Bastiat Hassan final. We'll have to see.
They should do it.
Come on.
Chat,
I know
vote
your
for
audience
Bastiat
too well.
and Hassan.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see what happens. I don't know.
But I do like listening to you talk, brother. I don't always agree with it. But
yeah, no, same thing. I mean, it's really, I was really looking forward to talking with you, Richard, and Hassan too. I mean, I know that, again, I question your moral compass and all that, but I really do enjoy chatting with you too.
Bastian, let me say something. Before you say anything, you need to be careful, because Iraq was a nice country, right? You guys came over, you took out so many people, innocent people, killed them all and shit, and then, after that, it changed, dude. ISIS came, everyone thought it was Muslims, but it was organized by the US, and and then Al-Qaeda came, or whatever it was. But who was Bin Laden was part of, he worked for the US and all that shit. Bro, you need to shut up. You guys caused war in Vietnam, fucking blew up Japan back in the days. Ain't nothing happened to that. You guys are heroes still.
The communists caused the war in Vietnam.
It was the communists' fault that they retaliated in North.
Yeah, they retaliated by trying to conquer.
Hold on. Before you guys go off on this, hold on.
It was the communist fault when the southern Vietnam was fucking napalmed. Okay, yeah. When southern Vietnam was supposed to be our allies, were fucking napalmed and killed. It was actually the communist fault.
Hold on, Hassan. Freeze. Hold on. I think we found something to talk about for the finals, because the finals is going to be between Bastiat and Hassan for the finals. Sliker and Richardlewis, you've been eliminated. Richardlewis, go ahead and shout out your channel. Thank you for coming.
I guess
no
it's
always
okay when you can say whatever you want.
Bastiat, great to talk to you. Hassan, but pleasantly surprised. Great to talk to you too. So good luck in the finals. Anyway, if you want to follow my channel, it's twitch.tv, Richardlewis Reports. I hope everyone who's watching enjoys the rest of the show.
Thank you. Bye-bye, Richard. Thank you.
Bye.
Sliker, just stay there. You're eliminated, but just sit right there. You just look too damn cute. This is the final between Hassan and Bastiat. Gentlemen, you have 5 minutes. Hassan, I want you to go back to what you were talking about, because I didn't want to cut you off.
Well, there are still children born with severe deformities in Vietnam as a consequence of all of the illegal weapons that we used in Vietnam, in the southern Vietnamese region, which is not where the commies were, which is where the allies of the United States were, the fundamentalist Christians were, and yet for some reason it's all acceptable because what, communism? I think that's what Basquiat's argument is.
I'm not saying
it's really
that Agent
interesting
Orange
to hear
was acceptable.
neoliberals. It's really interesting to hear neoliberals make the exact same arguments that fucking neocons make when they're justifying American imperialism, when they're justifying all of the unnecessary war. Like people try to make me out to be a person who hates the military. Listen. Let me finish this and then you can go. Let me finish this and you can go. Let me wrap this up really quickly. People say that I hate the military, I hate the U.S. military, all this shit. I don't. I have plenty of fucking veterans who are in my audience. I have plenty of veterans who support me. The reason why I am so anti-war is because I don't want unnecessary bloodshed. It's because I don't want these people to go overseas and fucking fight senselessly, endlessly for the behest of the military-industrial complex, so that the American war machine can continue to make money and can continue to fund itself and increase its budgets year over year. It's disgusting. It sucks. I hate it. I wish we wouldn't do it, and I believe that we can stop doing it.
Look, I don't want to defend like Agent Orange or these brutalities that happen as a result of these wars. What I was pushing back on is the notion that these wars should be avoided at all costs. And I think South Vietnam is an example of why that is just not the case. South Vietnam is currently united with a communist regime, right? And it's an oppressive communist regime, right? Particularly after the war was concluded, there were a lot of violent reprisals against so-called enemies of the regime. Look by comparison at, say, North and South Korea, where the United States pushed back against communism more successfully. South Korea is now one of the freest, richest, most prosperous countries in the world. North Korea is the most brutal slavocracy on the planet. And if the United States had maybe pushed a little harder, if the United States had let the war happen and just let South Korea fold, all those people would be living in slavery now too. Whereas at least the United States...
So hold on. So let's get to the basic question. Hold on. Let's get to the basic fundamental question here between the two of you. The question is, do you think it is appropriate for the... So this is what we're generally discussing here. Is do we think it's appropriate for America to intervene overseas? Is it circumstantial or is it never okay? Hassan, I believe you're saying it's more of a never okay sort of thing?
No, of course it's not. Of course it's not ever there are acceptable circumstances in which interfering is the only option. I mentioned that already. I mentioned it when it comes to World War II, for example.
Nazi
I think
Germany.
that was the acceptable option.
Yes, you did.
But there are certainly instances where like Vietnam, for example, where it wasn't okay, and we knew that it wasn't okay, and there was plenty of pushback at the time from people like myself who tried to, like people who have the same opinions that I hold, but back then, who tried to stop this from happening, and no one listened to them, and they said, no, this is justifiable, we have to do this, and look at the consequences of that, death and destruction all around the world. The reason why there are oppressive and shitty regimes in Vietnam right now is because we destroy their infrastructure, we bomb the shit out of them, and we keep doing it to all these other countries around the world, and then we do the surprise Pikachu face when everybody fucking hates
Bastiat.
I like the surprise
Bastiat, it's now your turn to respond, okay? So I guess you guys agree on fundamentally on when the United States should intervene.
Yeah, it sounds like we both agree, Hassan, that it's circumstantial to a degree when the U.S. should intervene. But I think that isn't, like, Vietnam is an example of where the means were sometimes horrific and unnecessary and even hurt the cause in the process, like Agent Orange, for example, right? And sometimes brutal, as was the bombing of, say, North Korea during the Korean War, brutal. And yet, the point is, the call of the question is, should the United States intervene to try and topple dictatorships or preserve freedom? And South Korea, I think, is a prime example of why it should. If the United States had said, well, look, we could cause more damage in the process, we don't want to get involved, then the 60 million South Koreans today who live in one of the freest, most prosperous countries in the world would live in slavery.
Hold on, let Bastiat finish.
It's more than that.
Justified?
Let him finish.
The Nazis were so bad that obviously that was justified. But of course, not everyone in the world is the Nazis, right? There are situations where it's less clear. Yugoslavia, for example, the Serbs committing genocide in Bosnia-Herzegovina, the Rwandans, the Hutu militants committing genocide there against the Tutsi minority. In both situations, the United States was rightfully, I think, pilloried for not getting involved soon enough, and in Rwanda for not getting involved basically at all.
I know,
the United
but
States is not perfect. You're right. The United States has done a lot of bad things in its history, but when it comes down to it, there's nobody else who can.
Why does that justify all of the death and destruction elsewhere, though? If there are acceptable interventions,
I feel like the question,
the unacceptable intervention in the case that you're trying to make currently.
The question
so that's
you're
my
asking,
issue, because you're currently making you're looking and you're pointing to examples where like it's kind of like this, okay? Let's say there's a fucking serial killer out there, right? And you're like, well, the serial killer actually murdered a couple pedophiles that were raping children, so it's okay that it also murdered a bunch of fucking orphans in this orphanage.
I don't think that's the right comparison to make here. I'm saying that there are situations where the United States is the only one who can and oftentimes will get involved. And I think the real question is here: is it better to live in slavery or, I guess, risk death for the sake?
I know,
of
but
freedom?
we've done worse things, and people did not want that to happen to them either. The people did not want. If you ask the people of Vietnam, they're not.
The people of South Vietnam who were fleeing the country
the people
as
of
the
Iraq,
communists
Sliker, here.
Were falling on Saigon.
The people of Iraq or the people of Afghanistan wanted American military intervention? No.
Maybe one person doesn't. Maybe some people don't. Maybe even a majority of people don't. What about the people though who do? What about the people who don't want to live in slavery, who don't want to live in oppression?
Want
don't
American
those
military
people's
intervention
wishes
are
matter?
the corrupt politicians that benefit from it. We have corrupt politicians here. We have corrupt politicians in Iraq as well. They are the ones who then seized power. But outside of that, the people obviously do not want American military intervention. No one wants anyone to come in and fucking bomb their schools, homie. You think about it as a.
Do you think it's that easy? That the South Koreans didn't want that? That the Tutsis who were living in fear of Hutu militants hacking them to death with machetes didn't want somebody to intervene? I mean, that the Bosnians didn't want somebody to intervene? I mean, you were ragging on Tony Blair earlier.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
Just look at that as an example. Right now,
do you know the name of the genocidal warlord? Do you know the name of the genocidal warlord?
Name their children after
the name of the genocidal warlord who committed that genocide.
Bring them freedom. And it's
who was the military leader? Who was the military leader? Who was the Tutsi military leader that caused genocide? Do you remember the name of him?
The military leader?
Oh no, I don't.
You're
referencing.
No,
you don't remember? Okay, I don't remember his name either. But we are now dealing with him. We are now dealing with him right now. He is technically in charge of the entire country, and we are.
Oh wait, now you mean Paul Kagame, the guy who fought the genocide? Yeah, Paul Kagame was the Tutsi military leader who fought the genocide. He runs Rwanda now. I mean,
okay, the guy who committed the atrocity, the guy who caused genocide. The guy who caused genocide is now in charge of effectively in charge of Somalia, right? If I'm not
we're talking about Rwanda, and the guy who is in charge of Rwanda definitely opposed the genocide. He fought it, as part of a paramilitary group fighting it. So,
okay. Gentlemen, this will go on forever. So, if there's a way we could find a way to somehow get to a conclusion, that would be great.
Sure. Look, I mean, I'll
because let's conclude. If we could go to maybe closing statements on what we're going to do, and then maybe why the chat should vote for you as the final winner of the Rajj Royale podcast.
The last thing I will say is this. Okay, sorry, my Postmate literally just arrived right as we were. Oh,
okay,
fuck.
You close first. Okay. All right, Bastian, you go ahead with your closing statement first.
Look, it's a real unpopular thing to argue. I understand. It makes me feel a little uncomfortable doing it, arguing for the legitimacy of war and conflict, something which always, even in the best of situations, lead to the death of civilian populations. But I think you have to ask, what is it? What is the priority? Is the priority just to live, or is the priority to live in freedom with a chance of improving yourself, to live with a chance of being able to not just live in freedom, but to live in safety from brutal dictatorships? Today, I watched the clip of Saddam Hussein as he took power in Iraq, literally condemning people to death by a smug point of a finger in an audience. And that's the kind of tyranny and brutality that the United States has often found itself nods to. It's easy to say, and this is concluding statements here, so it's easy to say the United States has done that too, and tragically, sometimes it has. And yet, when you look at American history, the United States has slain fascist regimes through the Cold War, communist regimes. It's done more for the cause of human freedom, dignity, and progress than any regime in the world. It's obviously got a lot of problems that need to be addressed. But that's
thank you very much. Thank you, Basti. That's your closing. Hassan, it's now your turn to close.
Let me say
it's okay to cause death and destruction it's okay to cause death and destruction as long as you have at some point in time done some good things as well. I agree. Yeah.
Let me say something.
Hold on, Sliker, 1 second. Let Hassan finish, and then I'll get you word in.
Especially a really silly point of view, considering that we lied to get in the war in Vietnam, we lied to get in the war in Iraq, and then on top of that, even with the same rebel groups that you reference as far as like causing genocide, we have aligned ourselves with those people in opportune times, and we've done it over and over again. This is the United States MO. You fucking fund militant groups, and then those militant groups seize power or they cause death and destruction, and then you use that as a justification to go there and extract their natural resources We've done this over and over again, and I think it's absolutely disgusting and un-American to sit here and act like America should not be held accountable for all of those things, especially torture, especially genocide, and especially death and destruction in countries like Vietnam and Iraq and the Middle East is in general.
Okay.
It's indefensible.
Okay, and gentlemen, real briefly, is there anything you'd like to say to the voters that could be voting for you?
I'll tell you right now, Hassan, it was a real nice straw man you raised there.
I don't really care. I legitimately don't care. So okay. I have no point.
Okay. All right. Sliker, what do you want to say?
Saddam has done good and bad things, okay? Dude, for Iraq, this guy gave like 24/7 electricity and all that shit. Shake it. No, listen. Keep shaking your head. Because once you guys eliminated him, you all left and laughed at us and left us. Because our country is shit now. We only get 2 hours of electricity. So we only get 2 hours of electricity now because of our new shitty presidents that sit down, don't do shit. After you guys left, what did you guys do after when you guys left? You guys pointed at us and laughed, made it even harder for us to even leave our country after you made it shit. Yes, masa blokla, masa.
Vote, chat for who you want to win the Rajj Royale podcast, gentlemen. Do not look at the poll. Do not look at the poll, please.
I just want to thank you for the chance to be here, and I want to say, if you need any evidence of the hope that America provides people for freedom in the world, look at those Hong Kong protesters waving the American flag right in the face of the Chinese government. That's a symbol for freedom and hope in this world.
Yeah, I don't have a problem
with Hong Kong. All words aside, they're all acknowledged. You're absolutely right that the United States has committed a lot of crimes in the process, but it's done a whole lot of good in this world too, and it's a real engine for freedom.
Yeah, but it doesn't excuse the death and destruction in the way that you're trying to do it right now. That's my point.
Vote for who you want to win the Rajj Royale podcast, gentlemen who are involved here. Do not. Oops. Oh, I'm getting advertisements for PAX South. Okay. All right. Buy your badges. Yes, I get it. Okay. Here we go. Currently, it's very close. Make sure that you submit your vote. It all matters. It all matters. That's right. Unlike the U.S. election, this one matters. Sorry, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You should definitely vote. 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 By the way, this broadcast has been brought to you by Movement! MVMT. After you're done voting, go check out the amazing portfolio of options that you have. The winner of the Rajj Royale podcast is going to walk away with $175 worth of Movement merchandise. Oh my God! It's unbelievable.
No matter who wins,
I know.
Even if I win, Basti, I can take the Movement stuff.
Really? Hassan, there's so many products that you would wear. I'm telling you, rings, necklaces, wristbands.
I'm just offering a concession in good nature.
Okay.
I appreciate that, Hassan. I do want to say, I know that it often gets heated, but I enjoy talking with you, and I feel like you do raise a lot of good points, even if I...
All right, here we go. The winner of the Rajj Royale podcast. You guys are getting along too much. That's way off script. Please stay on the script. Okay? That is way off script. Appreciate if you would argue a little bit more. Hassan, per the script, would you call him a name or something, and a passionate name or something, or... make fun of his hair or his suit.
Okay, Bastiat, more like Bush-tiat.
That was a good one. All right.
Hassan, more like young Stalin, you beautiful man. You.
Okay, all right. Okay, the poll is in. The votes have stopped. It is time to announce the winner. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Rajj Royale podcast with 51% of the vote. Stand up and take a bow, Mr. Hasanpiker! Congratulations! You have won the Rajj Royale podcast.
Wait,
congratulations!
I wasn't in the poll.
50. No, you weren't in the poll. You lost last round. But congratulations, Mr. Hasanpiker. You have won the Rajj Royale podcast. Bastiat, big round of applause to you, sir. You have made it farther. This is actually a record. You have made it farther than anybody ever that we didn't know who the hell you were before you got on here. So congratulations, Bastiat. Give yourself a nice shout out.
Sure, thanks, folks. I'm as I said earlier, I'm a neoliberal corporate attorney. I do fossil fuel work by day, and I do Twitch streaming by night. We stream almost every day, sometimes off now and then for a break or when work gets tough. But I sure would appreciate if you'd follow the channel and check it out. Sometimes we talk about law, politics, economics, the occasional conspiracy theory, and we have a lot of fun. So I sure would appreciate it. It's been great being here. Sliker, Hassan, and Raj, I appreciate your time. It was fun talking.
Thank you very much, Bastian. Now show me your tax returns. Let's see those tax returns, okay?
Hey, I'm under audit, okay, by the IRS. Okay,
Thank you very
everybody
much.
knows you don't show those. All right, thanks again, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Oh, and Hassan. Oh, hey, Hassan,
You're still
if
in
you're
here.
I do. It'd be great if we could talk about like universal basic income sometime. I feel like that'd be a fun subject to talk about. So.
Okay. I mean,
All
I
right.
hate political debates, and I rarely engage in them, and I instead like to do reaction stuff. But sure.
All right, right on, man. Have a good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, last but not least, Mr. Sliker 0161 that's joining us half naked from his
0161.
bed.
Anelli7 in the chat. Okay, listen. All I'm gonna say is, you gotta think. Okay, you gotta think of ways to instigate situations where even people with even Wait, I haven't left. Fuck, I done a fake freeze shit. I mean, peace, bye.
Okay, thank you, Sliker. Twitter.com, twitch.tv/itssliker. Last but not least, Hassan, who's going to catch this host live on Hassan Abbey. You don't need to say anything. Congratulations. I'm going to host you.
Twitch.tv/HassanAbi. My Instagram is Hassan D. Piker. My Twitter is Hassan the Hun. Get mauled, DGG. I have the screenshot.
Hey, come on.